Saturday afternoon. It's a little different.
It is a bit different.
It is a bit different. What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Granny's Peach Tea. This is episode 34. We are kicking off. This is TLC's Waterfalls.
With a great message, guys. Anyone out there listening, don't go chasing waterfalls. Just stay in the rivers and the streams that you're used to.
If you're familiar with the concept we're covering today, then you'll probably get why we're leading off with this. But definitely, we have a certain villain who's going to go ahead and was sharing his musical taste. So.
Oh yeah. I think we need a playlist, like a Spotify playlist, at the end of this season for his music.
I think so. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, thank you for joining us. Whether it's on the Facebook stream, if you're joining us on YouTube, you're joining us on Instagram, or joining us on Twitter, or wherever you're finding us on the audio-only versions, wherever you get your podcast. Thank you so much. We super appreciate all the support. So we're excited, and we're jumping around a couple of times. We got to work around the personal schedules, but we'll try to settle into our regular spot, coming up soon. But
we're getting it figured out. Can I tell you how weird it is to be here on a Saturday afternoon? I just want to share with the kids at home. This is not my normal peach tea. I'm not partaking in the peach tea, the Granny's peach tea. It's too early. This is water. I got maybe a Coke on deck here, like one of my wife's tiny Cokes.
Nice.
I got a little coffee going on here,
Wow.
So instead of me getting more mellow as the episode goes on as usual, I'm gonna get more like hyper. Just a heads up, that's what happens when I don't get my peach tea.
Jason's getting jacked up as this thing is gonna keep going on. We'll see where this takes us, but Jason and I actually got a chance to see something because we just don't watch comic book movies.
Yeah.
We got to see the new James Bond flick, No Time to Die, the other night. And Jason is super excited to talk about another show for Pop Culture Pros that's going to lead into.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a big James Bond fan. Ed's a big James Bond fan, as is a friend of mine named Ginny, who you will be meeting on this show, I believe, next week. And we've decided to get together and put together a mini-series, a mini retrospective of the James Bond movies called 00 Deep Dive, where we kind of go into the different movies of James Bond. We're going to have guests on to talk about people who've read the books. I've read some of the books. I know other people who've read the books. At some point, we're going to be talking about GoldenEye for the Nintendo 64, because how the hell can you talk about GoldenEye without talking about that game? It's one of the most iconic games. So it's going to be a show where we not only talk about the movies themselves, but the pop culture around them, the influence it had on the culture, and the influence the culture had on it, how it went from the 60s to what it is as of No Time to Die, which is a movie that I personally will hold judgment on until we put the show up.
Wow, that was the ultimate tease right there. That's
like that.
Wow, that was good. I like that. That was pretty good.
That's almost
there for a second.
That's almost as good as the time that I said, "And what if?" And then I turned my thing off so I could remember when we were having issues going in and out, so I could go fix it. And then I got back, and people were like, "Well, what did he say? What did he say?" And it's like, no, I had nothing. That was just a teaser.
I like it. That's pretty good. So, yeah, we'll take a look out for a 00 Deep Dive. We'll be discussing the Bond franchise. What 24, 25 in at this point? Man,
24, 25. But we are. I'm warning you guys. I am counting the original Casino Royale, which is insane, from the 60s. It has David Niven and Woody Allen, and if you don't know who those people are, that's fine. It has Orson Welles. You should know who he is. Citizen Kane.
Unicron.
Unicron. Yeah. Well, yes. If you're watching this show, you should know him. He's Unicron. And I also plan on doing Never Say Never Again, which was the unofficial remake where Sean Connery comes back as like 60-year-old Sean Connery remake Thunderball.
There was I just happened to glance past a rumor online. I think it was yesterday, and of course online we know there's a lot of rumors about insanity.
Was it we got this covered?
No, I thought it would be, but apparently there's a fan theory out there that Sean Connery was playing James Bond in The Rock.
Oh, I know. I've heard that, and
Okay. I never heard of this before.
I've heard that, and I rewatched The Rock with that in mind, and I think that there's an argument to be made there. So maybe at the end of the James Bond section that we do, at the end of the Sean Connery James Bond section, maybe we'll watch The Rock and we'll make our determination.
Dude, I mean, not just the Dwayne Johnson, but like, I love The Rock.
Oh, that's a great movie.
I'm gonna be honest. I actually like a couple of Michael Bay movies, and that's one of them.
I think I might like. I think I might like two, but The Rock, I like The Rock so much that for me it justifies every other Michael Bay movie he's done, including what he's done of the Transformers. So I would not look. I would not Age of Apocalypse him. I would not go back and take him out to see what the world would be like without him, because then it's a world without Sean Connery's Rock.
By the way, Rick was going to comment on this, and thanks for watching it, checking us out. The theory is true. He is saying that Sean Connery is in fact playing an older James Bond in Michael Bay's The Rock.
I agree. I personally, I'm willing to argue that as well.
Wow, I actually can't wait to discuss that.
So we're gonna, again, that's why we're gonna be talking about the franchise, but not just the movies. We're gonna be talking about ancillary things as well. Hell, I might make these two get into James Bond Jr., the cartoon series. I haven't decided.
Oh my god, I'm pretty sure I remember seeing a couple episodes of that as a kid, and I was like, maybe.
Yeah, I wasn't even that far into it. Maybe we'll just watch one episode.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. All right, cool. So we'll get into that as time goes along. Probably looking at November.
Yep.
But all right, let's jump into some comics, man. Let's get into it, or at least comic book inspired shows. We'll kick it off as usual with CW verse. So we'll got a new episode of Stargirl season 2, episode 9. An episode that really focuses on Pat and Pat's secret that we had alluded to a couple of times throughout the season.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they weren't really heavily focused on it until now, and now we get like the full thing of like what the hell happened.
Yeah, and I want to say that, like, you know, I dinged this show before for the build up for Pat's son. You know, we need him for the ISA, and then it was just, you know, BS. But this secret that they were holding, this was worth it. This had the dramatic impact, because it's like, oh shit, like, yeah, this is a game changer. But do you want your 16-year-old daughter to have this information?
Yeah, and I kind of understand clearly why Pat and his wife's name is escaping me at the moment.
Jean Smart.
Yeah,
yeah,
pretty much. So why they were withholding this information from her, because essentially the way that they stop is tied into how the original JSA stopped Eclipso is they killed the dude, the original host for Eclipso.
Yep.
And that's obviously not it. It was a whole discussion between Pat, who was Stripesy at the time, and he's discussing with the original JSA, and then we get Jay Garrick.
Which, man, I was so happy about that, because I've been afraid that the CW is going to try to shoehorn this into the CW verse, and like we're going to get the Flash, like Barry Allen showing up at some point. I don't want that, but this was just the perfect sprinkling of CW verse there. Jay Garrick is like that actor is the old that version of the Flash.
Original Barry Allen, from the CBS show back in the day.
Right, exactly. So he's the original Barry Allen. He's also playing the original Flash, because this is based on older, like Golden Age characters. So I thought that was just I got so excited to see it, even though I doubt he's going to be big throughout the season. Just the fact that he was there, and that's how the CW lets you know it's in its pantheon now. Perfect. Yeah,
and I'm guessing though that I guess this is that Jay Garrick's Earth. I guess this is what he was doing on it, because I mean we knew he still exists, even though that whole Crisis on Infinite Earth. So I still think it's like I do remember that they clarified that they were like, we wiped out the multiverse, but yet there's only like 5 left.
Yeah, they were very unclear about.
I thought that was a very I mean, they were clear that they kept 5. They didn't really explain why they kept 5.
But that's what they like. This was supposed to be the event to end all multiverses. It succeeded, and yet 5 still exist. They didn't really. They just went. They do. And
instead of 1,000, we have 5 now.
Okay, right? I wish they just would have presented it as it was a culling of, like, instead of saying like, all the multiverses would be destroyed. Just say it's going to be like a Thanos thing, a random culling. That's still terrible.
Like that.
You're still just flashing out hundreds of thousands of existences.
Mm-hmm. And they just, well, whatever. They justified pretty much the shows that they have running still.
Right.
Again, I know we talked about this a couple of times, but yeah, the ones that exist are Doom Patrol's Earth, Titans Earth. For some reason, the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern Earth still exists. I don't know what that was about.
That's.
I mean, if they're gonna follow up on that at some point, I would be very shocked. But
I know.
I gotta believe there's a reason.
And don't get me wrong. I wouldn't mind a reboot of that with Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern. I actually do think he would be that iteration of the Green Lantern. But you've got to give it a real script. You got to give it a good shot. Like, not the garbage they gave us, because that was not a Green Lantern movie. And
he spent years ripping it, and
yes,
pretty much. And it's turned into a running joke now. So
yeah, I mean, look at Deadpool 2.
Yeah, exactly. Which was worth it, and to my estimation, I guess we got that.
Absolutely.
So pretty much that's essentially what the story of this episode focuses on. And then we also get to see more about the Shade. And the Shade is the one who apparently worked with the original Starman at Dr. McNider's daughter's funeral and pulled him to the side. And they had a whole discussion, and they tipped him off more about Eclipso and essentially what it was going to take to beat him. So we do see so he did work the original JSA, and they were skeptical about it at first, or at least Stripesy was.
Can I say that the original JSA, with very few exceptions, are a bunch of assholes?
Oh, absolutely they are.
They, how Wildcat just keep going, Stripesy, you're not even in the goddamn team. It's like, fuck you, Wildcat.
Well, that's what I was going to get to next, honestly. Like, why were they just constantly shitting, except for Jay Garrick?
You're right.
He was the only one that respected him.
He was the only one who respected him, and that's why I loved him. And I love that he made them give him a vote, because they all vote if they're going to kill this guy.
Yeah.
And again, this is bad news. And I'll be honest with you, I would have voted with the majority who voted to kill this guy, because Eclipso is pretty much like, I just killed. Look, I made this about family. I killed McNider's daughter. You all have children. I know that. You make the next step. Look, I'm putting a bullet in an innocent person's head to save my son. That's the way it is, right? But I don't understand why they had to be such a jerk to even Starman's a bit of a jerk to
absolutely
to Stripesy.
Treats him constantly like an asshole.
Right. So I don't understand why everyone in that group treats Stripesy like garbage. Like, if you're gonna go and kill this guy and Stripesy doesn't want you to do it, that's fine. He's within his right to morally be opposed to this. But don't treat him like garbage, and don't pretend he's not part of this goddamn group.
Yeah, I thought that's a little strange that they keep on hammering that home. At first, they were playing it for like a joke, I think, in season 1 in the beginning, and then all of a sudden now they're just like assholes.
Right, like you could read that first line when Starman dies and says, someone needs to take it up, not you, and we talked about that.
Yeah.
And like, I kind of read it. It was a joke, but I also kind of read it as like, I thought, okay, I'm protecting him. This guy can't do this. I know this, right? Like, I know his limitations. But seeing it here now, it puts that in a new light, because it's like, no, he didn't respect his friend who he brought into this life.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they straighten that out. Maybe there was reasons why things were happening and stuff like that. I hope this isn't the tone that they go with, because it does really make them seem like a bunch of like morons and like just douchebags. So. And the other parts of the episode focus on Eclipso, essentially like making the various characters see things. Like Pat's son over there is seeing Icicle's son coming in there and like to fight him and to kill him. Pat's wife is seeing Icicle himself in the back seat, and like everything's getting really cold and stuff like that. And I love the Shade pop again. It's just like, just turn on the car.
Oh, that was great.
Just let's go. Like, this is an illusion. Enough with this crap.
I love that. And what a great way to come in and like just dispel that. Like, nope, this illusion, turn on the car. No, just turn on the car. I love that.
Yeah, and then by the end of the episode, pretty much Courtney loses, when she finds out everything and she has all information, she finds out that, she just doesn't know if she could trust Pat.
Right.
The same way with this, because Pat was also pretty much saying, like, no, don't go after him. Don't go after him. You're unprepared and stuff like that. And she makes a good point saying, you never think we're prepared for any of this. So
yeah, and you know what?
whatever.
I love the way she delivered that line because she went, "Pat, I love you," but when she doesn't even say you've never been. She asks him, "Have you ever felt we were prepared enough?"
Yeah, that's actually.
And I love, like, I love you, but think about this. And it was just a very adult way to do it. And that shows growth in the character of Courtney, because last season she was very much like angry and yelling at him and throwing shit in his face. But here is a very much, no, I love you, but you think about what you're saying right now. And it was just, I like that character growth moment.
Yeah, no, she's definitely coming a long way, and maybe like coming into her own as the leader of the new JSA, which I really dig.
Me too. And I think that's the important part about why she feels so betrayed, because they didn't tell her this. Like, it's too late now. Like, Eclipso, for anyone who doesn't remember, doesn't have a host. He's free of the diamond. They destroyed it. But the whole thing is, the implication is Pat didn't trust Courtney with that information when it would have been useful, because they would have had to have killed, I forget her name, but the dragon's daughter.
Yes.
Right? That would have, had they known this, they would have had to have killed the dragon's daughter to do this. And by Pat not telling her that, he was saying, I don't trust her to make this decision. And I think that's why she feels so betrayed here.
Yeah, which I'm curious to see if they're going to follow up a little bit more on that.
I think they have to.
Yeah, to see where that happened. All right, so I mean, I think that's pretty much what we got for Stargirl for this week. Let's roll into the next CW show we got, or the other one currently, because we're getting two back next week.
Yes,
so we're back to
legends.
Are you gonna do the dance for Batwoman as well? Because I mean, they're back on the same night next week. In a couple of days.
I'm gonna show growth, and I'm gonna go Batwoman.
All right.
I didn't roll my eyes.
I'll take it.
They've made some promises. Now, I don't know if they're going to fulfill those promises, but that is me saying I am reserving judgment until it appears.
And I think that rolls us into some eye-rolling stuff, at least for me personally.
Yeah.
Is episode 14 of Supergirl.
All right. So, full disclosure, I had to sit down and watch this episode, try to watch this episode 3 times.
Oh, wow.
I tried to watch it Thursday before we went to go see the James Bond movie. And I had watched, and I was tired because I worked, right? I get up early now that I'm back in the building. I get up at like 6:40. But I had sat through Stargirl, and I had sat through an episode of Doom Patrol. And then I got 20 minutes into Supergirl and I fell asleep. And then last night, I sat through Titans, and I sat through Doom Patrol. But at like 10:30 at night, 10 minutes into Supergirl, I fell asleep. So I had to get up and I had to watch it this morning. I mean, I think that's my review of the episode. I mean,
it's not the best episode. Again, I feel like we get redundant saying this. It's not the worst. It's just, again, we're dying for something like exciting to happen in the final season of a show, and it's just not happening.
Right.
I thought the two moments that kind of whatever, the overall synopsis of the episode is that Nixley is going ahead and still trying to get the is it the humanity totem that she's after now?
Yeah,
that was the name of it.
Right.
And she feel gets like this is Infinity Stones and fake Infinity Stones.
Pretty much what this is. And like this show now seems like it has a formula. Nixley goes after a totem. Nixley gets the totem. Nixley runs the gauntlet, and we see what happens. And the gauntlet for this one is that she gets the humanity totem, and she goes, "Oh, no gauntlet. That's great." La, 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 la. And then Lena does some magic, I guess. Thank you. Lena does some magic, and it makes all of the people around her get, like, they lose their humanity, and Nixley absorbs it. And then that's the gauntlet, she thinks. It was unclear if that was Lena or the gauntlet or both. And then Lena, at some point, like, the whole episode is like, I don't want to use the magic I never knew I had. And I shouldn't have.
And everyone knows it. And no one knew this was happening, not even the writers. And we just shoehorned this into the last season.
Exactly. And now it's everything. Now it's all we can do to stop Nixley. And it's like, why are we doing, like, the last season is a time when you look back at your other seasons and go, what loose threads have we let bare? And let's try to tie.
They did one.
Which one did they do?
Oh, no, go ahead. I got it. I actually think
okay.
it was the shining moment of this episode. To tell you the
Oh,
truth.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
But you look back at the former season, what have we left unresolved, and what can we sort of mine to give the audience a nice end cap, a book end to the seasons, to the series. But this is just like, what have we done? The Phantom Zone. Okay, let's go to the Phantom Zone. Wait, what else have we done? Well, we did Mixel pick. Oh, okay, we can't have him as the villain. What if we make up another one? Okay, let's make up another one. All right, now get that list of socially conscious things we got. That's what it feels like. It feels like they're just checking off this weird checklist as they go along.
Yeah, and we hammered them for that last week for another one again. But
yeah.
I will say though, before I get to the actual shining moment of the episode, which I knew was going to happen the second the scene began, but I did kind of come out of nowhere. But I was like, oh shit, that's right. That was actually a big thread from a couple of seasons ago. Supergirl in one scene saves this woman from getting shot by this guy in an alley. And she kind of grabs the bullet and like bullet time thing. And this, by the way, this scene has nothing to do with anything else in the episode. She kind of just grabs it, looks at him, and kind of flicks it at him. And I'm like, wait, wouldn't that have technically kind of been like shooting him?
I would have thought. I thought the same thing actually.
And it was like, wait, no, it just kind of knocks him out. It's like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not I don't have superpowers or like that, but I would assume that's how it would go.
I mean, I guess the way I thought about it is, yes, if she was doing it at full strength for sure.
So she held back and just.
Yeah, but I think it's like, if Kara Danvers ever like pushes someone or smacks someone playfully, it's like she knows how to hold back the powers enough. Like, again, this is a convoluted explanation, but I could see that's the thought.
It was just because it was a bullet. I agree with you otherwise. Yes, obviously.
Yeah, but you're right.
People on a regular basis.
It is a bullet that was fired that you caught and threw back.
Yeah, just saying. I mean, whatever. That's something, again, it made me think of, like, for some reason, it just flashed to, like, what happened if Homelander would have done this. And
oh, my God.
I would have took and just thrown it at him and bang, and, like, his head would have exploded or something like that.
His head would have exploded, and the pieces would have gone out so far and hard it would have killed 10 babies in the vicinity. Like, that's how dark that show is.
I can't wait for the boys to come back. I just see them talking about it right now.
I am excited about it.
So yeah, and I guess the thing that tied into it was, so that family, we meet a young girl who was adopted by her family. Yeah. And they're all loving and they're all lovey-dovey. Yeah, I believe it was Ishmael.
Or Ismay or something like that. Esme. That was
Esme. You're right. So we meet that family, we see that situation, and it looks very happy. They get her pancakes for dinner and all this other stuff, and it's very cool. And all of a sudden, like, when the shit hits the fan and there's a bunch of these people who lost their humanity, who are having violence all over the city, they go to attack the house, and they close the door and leave her on the stoop because she has superpowers. Like, earlier in the episode, we learned she has superpowers.
Yeah, like, they have a moment. And I want to talk about that because they have a moment where she spits fire. Someone goes to attack the mother and she spits fire. And she was like, oh, sorry. But the mother seemed cool. She was like, yeah, it's okay. Let's go inside and have some more pancakes. Like,
yeah, you thought it was all good.
Right.
And then they leave her. They literally lock her on a stoop and to, like, protect the house. And the poor little girl is, like, shitting herself. She's like, I don't know how to use this damn thing. What the hell are you people doing? And then Guardian and fucking David
Sentinel.
Bowie show up.
David Bowie.
David Bowie and they show up and save the day, right? Completely out of nowhere.
Oh no, out of nowhere. And you know that they were on the other side of town because you saw them there. Or you at least saw David Bowie there. We didn't see Guardian there.
Guardian just pops in out of nowhere. Oh no, they're having a conversation while they're kicking the crap out of some people earlier, which I'm like, all right, whatever. I'll let that go for a minute. But at the end of the episode, though, we see that Kelly Olsen is there and she is chatting with her, and they're going to get her a new home because her current family turns out to be, like, awful after all of this.
Right. And which I think is a jump.
Yes.
I think it's a jump. Like, when you show the mother go, oh, it's okay, you're an alien, no big deal. Yeah. And then the next time you see him, it's like, go alien, save us. It's like, whoa, that's a fucking jump there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could just say that they were assholes the whole time or whatever. I mean, that's kind of what I chalked it up to. But
Yeah, I know, but hint toward it. Don't show them being accepting and loving and making pancakes for dinner, and not give us any hint that they're assholes until they're like about to sacrifice a 6-year-old girl to a ravenous mob. Like,
well,
again, it's a big jump.
that's fair. That it is a pretty huge jump. But in the final scene of the episode, though, they cut back to it, and Kelly's there, and she's trying to help the girl, and it looks like they're taking her back to like the foster home, and Alex Danvers is there, and they end up. I knew for a fact that they were going to adopt her.
I did too.
And that's a story thread, though, from a couple of seasons ago, if you remember, when Alex was all about having a kid.
Oh, right. I forgot about it. I forgot that was a big thing. You're right. So okay, so that's good. They've tied that back. That's good.
I was like, all right, bravo, Supergirl. You are tying up one thread. The second it started going in slow motion and I knew that the girl was leaving the house, I was like, yep, they're going to adopt her immediately.
Like, the second I saw that mother go, the fuck out of here, aliens, save our family. I was like, yeah, no, I kind of thought they were setting up the adoption in the beginning with how much they cared about this girl. But now that's exactly what's going to happen.
Exactly. Because, they'll have her teach her her powers, because there's also a line in there about that.
Yes,
so she can help to understand them and stuff like that. So, yeah, Alex Danvers finally gets her daughter. Maybe her daughter talks her into a new suit. Hopefully, maybe. I don't know. That would be awesome.
Yeah, maybe she could be Mick Jagger in the next one.
That would be great. So, yeah, overall, I thought that was actually the cool part of the episode.
I agree.
Where that happened, and otherwise, it was a snooze fest. Yeah, it was a literal snooze fest, and even for Jason, literally.
And again, I used to love this show.
Yeah, it's been enough, but hopefully we get ourselves a Lex Luthor appearance at some point.
They did mention him today.
He gets mentioned, because that means usually he's coming back soon.
Yeah.
Just stop with this Nixley bull crap and just let's get back to it.
Right. And again, like I like the actress who plays Nixley. The character's grown on me. Had it been a better written season? Actually, no. Just had it been a better written season, a more consistent season, I think I'd be okay with this, but the way they introduced her, I thought was just so ham-fisted, and her going from being like, nothing in the Phantom Zone to the big bad of the end of the series, I think is my problem. I don't even hate Nixley, and I actually do like the actress. I thought it was fun when she was having that moment where she's feeling all the emotions, and she's like, I thought that was fun. She was like, if I didn't have this restrainer, I could cure world hunger. I could bring world peace. And then she stops and she goes, and am I the only one who cares about the endangered snow leopards? And I laughed at that.
I'll give it that. That was funny. That
was funny. So, again, I'm not shitting on this actress or even this character. I just don't think it's been handled well this season. I think if this was going to be your big bad of this season of the series, the end of the series, then it needed to be more in the beginning, less of the Phantom Zone, and we still needed to have Lex Luthor somehow involved halfway through this, like even if he's working with Nixley or something, because again, it's Lex Luthor. Like, he was the big bad of this series for the most part.
Yeah, once he came in, he was like pretty front and center for a while now.
The only second person I would take as the big bad is Kat, because she, not that she's a villain, but I mean, if you wanted to turn her villainous, because at least you're bringing back a classic, right?
Yeah, no, that's true. That would have been much better than what the hell we're getting. But
right.
All right. Let's jump to the MCU, because we do have an MCU property right now to discuss for a little bit. We got the season finale for now, because we're not going to have it until Thanksgiving when Hawkeye comes. No, actually, baloney. We're going to have Eternals first and then Hawkeye.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Good point.
But, so we got the season finale of What If. So we pretty much find out in this episode that, let me throw up the spoiler warning. I almost forgot.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you haven't seen it.
Because imagine the what if universe where we don't put that spoiler warning up and we spoil it for people and we get hate mail and they cancel us, and then the watcher has to come in and intervene.
I know, and we know how much he doesn't want to do that.
Oh, and he took an oath not to. He'll do it for only two reasons. One, the end of all of the multiverse that he is inadvertently the cause of, or two, Reed Richards says please.
Well, that's always the thing that goes ahead and gets everyone to do everything possible.
Well, I mean, canonically, like that is the reason the Watcher has interfered several times into this Earth, because Reed Richards went, but Watu, I mean, please.
Oh, okay, fine. In that case, I'll just break my oath because Reed asked me to, so it's okay.
Guys, Reed's such a nice guy.
He's Reed. Well, we have someone who's going to jump in and is joining the episode here.
I didn't know that.
He's always a special guest, even though he's been on here plenty of times, and he's everywhere else in Pop Culture Pros.
Always excited.
And he's chopping down, apparently.
Nice.
I'm eating Fruit Loops out of the box.
Oh, wow.
Tim made a Brad Pitt entrance. Right?
Yes.
It's notorious for always eating crunchy shit.
And I had supervillain boy band hair going on, so just excuse that.
Wow. All right. Well, Tim's getting into the afternoon late breakfast feel of this show of this episode of Granny's Peach Tea.
Yeah, I'll stop crunching now. That's rude.
So we got the season finale of What If. Pretty much finding out that we tied together a lot of the episodes that we've had, which have seemed like they're one-offs, but we knew the previous episode when we got Infinity Ultron over there, we knew the Watcher was going to go ahead and get his team together. And we end up getting a team called the Guardians of the Multiverse, which he kind of just jumps into different realities and is like, all right, you're in,
cool.
You're in.
He was the Nick Fury of this show. He went to the multiverses. Like, yes. But Nick Fury at least waited for the adventure to be over. Watu was just like, that I don't care. Oh, you're in the middle of a firefight? Stop that. You're in. Let's go.
Yeah, we don't have time for this shit. We need you to, we got some shit to take care of right now. Ultron is about to wipe everybody out. So let's go.
And it may or may not be my fault, which is why I'm involved here.
Exactly. I broke my oath because my bad.
Yeah.
Essentially. I thought personally, we'll go around. I thought it tied it together nicely. It wasn't like, oh my God, this is like the greatest episode ever and stuff like that. I thought this also, the What If series, made Ultron way cooler than he was in Age of Ultron.
Agreed. I actually wish that I got Ultron half as cool as this one, because like this one is just not even because he's got the Infinity Stones. He's just so super collected and just I don't know. He's just got a coolness about him.
Yeah, Tim, what do you think?
Yeah, I thought he was at least 10 times more sinister than he was in the movie, and scary as shit. It's scary how when he picks up like, oh, there you are, and he's going to go after you, and that's pretty damn scary. And I love the What If. By the way, I didn't get a chance because I wasn't on the other shows, but I love Party Thor.
Party Thor was awesome.
Party Thor had me laughing the whole goddamn time. I thought it was
in
great.
The minority,
and the fact that he had all the special guests at his parties, your Howard the Ducks and your Guardians, and I thought that was hysterical.
Yeah, I thought
I wouldn't want to see it in a movie, but as an alternate, Party Thor is pretty funny.
Exactly. I don't want to see actually Chris Hemsworth acting this out.
No,
I have to say I did enjoy Party Thor a lot more in this than I did in the actual episode. I thought like him being Party Thor in this, it was really funny. Like he's got that moment that pays off when he goes, "Hey, I've got a knack for getting unwanted attention." And then when they're in that dead multiverse, that dead universe, and he's like, thundering off or lightning off, and Ultron comes in, and he very sinister. And he's like, I didn't realize there was still life here,
Mm-hmm.
And then Thor's like, in all fairness, I warned you. Like I thought that was really funny. So
yeah, that was pretty.
Well, imagine partying so hard you destroy planets. I mean, come on, I think that's hysterical.
That is hysterical.
Yeah. And I think another character that shows up here, which with Agent Carter, with Captain Carter, she's here, but we find that her universe didn't really change too much. She kind of just filled out Steve Rogers' storyline, and it looks like she kind of just goes along most of the same path that he did, while the other universes all hell's breaking loose, and there's so many different changes in all of them. But Supreme Doctor Strange is the badass of this fucking team. I mean, he is like the man in this.
He is the only reason that I believe any of that happened the way it did, because Everyone else, I was thinking about this. They're like their Avenger counterparts. Everyone else is at best equal to their Avenger counterpart, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some are worse, but only Superior Strange is better, right? And the fact is if the Avengers could not defeat Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, because they didn't, right?
Yeah.
They tricked him, they used time travel, but he wins with the Infinity Gauntlet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Ultron can fucking destroy Thanos with one stone as opposed to Thanos is the rest of them, then the Avengers couldn't beat Ultron, let alone this team. That was my only sort of like issue with it. Having said that, I believe it could have happened because Superior Strange is so powerful. He literally absorbed the universe, and I think and I do by the end think that was the plan. The plan was just to get them all out there so Strange could fucking freeze the Infinity Gauntlets in this amber and let it go. And so after that, I was like, all right, props to the Watcher because he was kind of willing to let everyone die. All right, I give it that.
I think they actually confirmed that, though. I think
they do.
Like, yeah, that's it. Like, yeah, you guys are here, but it's about this guy.
Yeah, and that's why that was my journey through the episode. Like, I had those doubts, and I was like, no, Superior Strange could do it. It was like, oh no, that was the point. Okay, they were just a distraction.
Yeah, which is like almost like Suicide. It was almost on like the Suicide Squad when they had like the first team come in as a distraction, for the second team to come in. Which I guess you could put Watcher as Amanda Waller then? Like, is that where we're going with this?
Waller's a bigger bitch, way bigger bitch.
Oh yeah, God, no, absolutely. No, she's
more evil than anybody.
Yeah, she's next level, man.
The Watcher's not like, help me or I'll kill you. He's like, help me or everyone, including me, dies. you know?
Pretty much. And by the way, props to Ross Marquand for voicing Ultron and stepping in for James Spader. When you almost can't really tell much that's like a thing. This dude jumped in for Red Skull and now for Ultron. I mean, anyone who they decide they don't want to come back, like, all right, this guy's got it. Let's go.
He's phenomenal.
Great. He's great.
All his impressions are great. No one does it better, John C. Reilly, than Ross Marquand. That's hysterical.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, check out YouTube and you can check out all his impressions. He has a bunch of videos about them and they're all great. And awesome. Smart on Kevin Feige's part to bring him into the MCU, into the fold, and just be like, all right, we're just going to plug you in.
That's the thing.
We need you, and that's pretty much it.
Like, we're not always going to be able to get everyone who's been in these movies, but we'll get you.
Yeah.
At a cheaper price, too.
Yep.
Exactly. And he's all about it. All right. So we got anything else on this episode before we roll on to...
Yeah, I know. I got one more thing. I got the post-credit scene, which...
Oh, yeah. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, no, it's no worries. It's so, like, at the end, the Watcher... all right, everyone wins. The Watcher puts Killmonger and Armin Zola, who is... So the way they, like, take down Ultron is because we didn't say this, they shoot him with that, like, Armin Zola arrow from the last episode. Yeah. Nice callback. Glad we got to go back to Black Widow. And then Armin Zola takes over, and Killmonger tries to get the stones, and Armin Zola tries to get the stones. And this is why Killmonger's there, because Supreme Strange puts them all in amber, and they're stuck in their own, like, sort of bastard universe. Walter puts everyone back, except he puts Black Widow. That's the universe where Loki took over, right?
Yes.
Okay, so he puts her back there. And then the post-credit scene, and this is weird, I thought, was we see the Hydra Stomper, and Black Widow says to Captain Carter, there's someone inside. And my thought was, is it the dead body of Steve Rogers? Why would he still be alive? And why is he in there? And why is this the first time she's seeing him?
I don't know. We talked about this before the movie.
Frozen.
Could be.
Maybe,
hopefully.
In the suit.
But, like, the only reason he survived his freezing the first time was because of the serum. Like, why? Like, they need to really explain why he's still kicking around if he is.
They'll say the Hydra Stomper is some kind of cocoon or
magic.
Or
I'm good with that. I can buy it. Whatever.
Something crazy.
All right.
We're literally talking about the Watcher and Ultron, like with the Infinity Stones. I can buy that. It's fine.
But again, my whole thing is the intrinsic logic. I just needed a line. I needed something.
I agree. I can't argue with that. Another fact I wanted to bring up though is when we get Gamora in this episode, she's there with Tony Stark, and they're on their own mission, but that's never been referenced before in this. But apparently, they decided to cut an episode from this season due to COVID because they had to make the release date. So we're getting that episode part of season 2 now, where they'll kind of go back and explain what the hell was going on with the two of them.
Oh, that's awesome. I thought that they kind of just put them in there and said, okay, well, we're going to introduce a new universe here that we haven't gone to, because there are universes we can't necessarily bring people over from. And that's kind of what I thought that was. That makes it even better, because at least there was a plan for them.
Well, didn't Tony Stark become a member of the Guardians, or the leader of the Guardians in the comics at some point?
Well, he's a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy at one point, and he ends up like getting with Gamora actually, and one point, and then and then there's a whole funny thing with Rocket, because Rocket's like, "This isn't going to work out for you, buddy. You need to go back to Earth because she'll kill you. She'll like literally kill you." And so don't try to like do playboy shit with her. But there's definitely a connection there too. But for the sake of the MCU, apparently we will be getting that episode next season, and I thought it was, they had to cut it due to COVID, which kind of sucks. But I'm curious to know what the heck was going on in that universe. Like, what changed? Why was that a thing? Because it looks like Gamora is wearing Thanos' armor, so it looks like she literally like defeated him or something like that, or just kicked his ass or something.
Well, they must have. That's why they have the Infinity Stone grinder,
yeah, exactly.
Right? I mean, the implication is they destroyed the Infinity Stones on their planet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because with the Infinity Crusher and all of that. And you find that it can't work in every single version of the multiverse. So.
Well, based on, I see Alex made a comment, a similar version of the Guardians in the multiverse with Doctor Strange too. Let me ask you guys then, what are the odds that we see like some of this what if stuff appear on the big screen with all these movies are going to be multiverse related coming out.
Yeah.
What do you think the odds are that we're going to see some of the what if pop up in one of these movies eventually?
I think we are.
I think we are, and I think most likely there's going to be something like that in Doctor Strange too, because that's really where the multiverse is starting. Like, I think we're doing multiverse stuff in Spider-Man, but Spider-Man has a history of multiverse, and we're literally getting the Spider-Man multiverse from Sony. I don't think they're going to try to like bring in any of these what ifs to that. It might be too much, but I think certainly there's going to be some form of reference to it in the Doctor Strange 2 movie.
I think there'll be cameos. I wouldn't be shocked to see Haley Atwell as Captain Carter, like briefly at least,
right,
or something like that. I don't think they're going to be huge parts of the story, but I think we'll definitely get some references here to that, just briefly.
Yeah, because between Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch messing with the multiverse, we got to see something. We got to see some kind of cool cameo, and it's a good way to bring Chris Evans back. Skinny Steve Rogers or something like that,
That's true, yeah. If you just want to have Chris Evans back just to, do something different.
He's retired with that, but we know it's all bullshit.
I don't think we're ever going to see him put the Captain America suit on again, but I think at some point, if they offer him enough money, he'll come in and be like an alternate, Steve Rogers who isn't Captain America or something, just as like a cameo.
That'd be funny.
I think he'll be like Steve Rogers.
Almost like Star-Lord working at the restaurant. We'll see Captain, Steve Rogers as a...
Which I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. By the way, I'm sorry, it's coming back to me now. So we had Scarlet Witch, by the way, zombie Scarlet Witch go after Ultron.
Which I thought that was cool. Like when he opens up the portal and... Who was it that says, "Oh, cool, zombies"? He's like, "It's not the zombies. It's not the zombies it's what comes with the zombies." And I was thinking, like, wait, did he bring like zombified Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet? Are we gonna get that? And then it's like that would have been insane.
Yeah.
But then we get Scarlet Witch wrecking shit. I like that. That was cool.
Yeah. The Marvel zombies are interesting because they actually still have their same powers and stuff like that as zombies.
Agreed.
Which makes them that much more dangerous
than
a regular zombies that we usually see.
I think it's why I still enjoy those particular zombie stories, because I'm kind of zombied out at this point. I think we've done so much in pop culture with zombies that I'm personally kind of like. We'll talk more about it, I guess, in Doom Patrol. But I'm personally like, oh, it's got to be really, really clever and special for me to be interested. But them with powers, very, very clever and special.
Yeah, it's very unique. But yeah, so that gets us to it. Let's talk about Doom Patrol. We haven't had a chance to really get into this because they dropped the first 3 on us at one time. We bounced around a little bit, and there's 2 episodes dropped since then. So we're just going to kind of gloss over the first 5 episodes overall. Tim, are you caught up on Doom Patrol or no?
I have not watched Doom Patrol yet.
Okay, so I'm spoiler warning, Tim.
Season 1, 2, or 3. I have not watched any.
Sweet Jesus!
I have not watched any Doom Patrol yet.
You want to go make a sandwich or something?
Yeah, we're gonna try to reel you in. Maybe what we talk about, you're gonna be like, dude, what the fuck are they saying?
I know them from Titans, but I just haven't had a chance to sit down and watch the show by itself.
It's an insane show. Even if you don't go on, that first season alone is worth your time.
Yeah.
No, talk away. I'll listen.
So
with my Fruit Loops.
The biggest impact from the previous seasons is that Niles Calder's dead.
He is.
The chief is done. Timothy Dalton is dead now.
He is. Which is to say, not off the show.
Not off the show, apparently, but he's dead. Because we see a lot of wacky shit with him that they continue to go with. And it's a lot of the show is focused on the ramifications of the death of the chief.
Yes.
You know, what's happened. You know, you got a lot of interesting things with the way that that Elastigirl is dealing with her thing, because she goes ahead and she gets a key, essentially, and he was kind of like almost passing it on, like, you should kind of like start leading shit and kind of like you have a destiny to take over there with that. And she's dealing with that for a while. You know, Crazy Jane had a very father-daughter relationship with him, despite the fact that everything that we found out about Niles being a douchebag and, you know, going ahead and creating all of them inadvertently just so he can live eternally with his daughter, she still has a soft spot and wants closure with him. And that's something that she's dealing with for a majority of these episodes. And so she gets it in a very funny way, I think, you know, eventually.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think the post-credit scene too, did you watch the post-credit scene?
I did, yeah, but you walk us through it.
All right, so that's pretty much the gist of the first episode, because the first episode really is the season finale for season 2.
Right,
because that was cut for COVID also, so they had to kind of like shoehorn this into here.
I didn't realize that, and I was actually going to make a complaint about that, but now that I know that, complaint withdrawn.
Okay. Because I caught up on this. I binged the first 2 episodes during COVID when there was no sports and no anything. I'm like, I'm going to watch every show known to man. And
nice.
Doom Patrol was one of them. And yeah, I was just like, and then I was reading, I'm like, this is how they ended it? But no, it was cut for COVID. But the ghost of Niles Calder is floating around the house. Okay, now I got Tim's attention. So,
wait.
Yeah, it gets better. Niles, so he's there, he's in the wheelchair and stuff, and like he's telling Robot Man to be like, and earlier in the episode, like, dude, you need to burn my body so I can have an eternal rest. And he literally tells him, fuck you.
Yeah,
you're an asshole. I'm not doing shit for you. Dude, Tim, the amount of F-bombs that are dropped in this show are out of control.
The amount of
Robot Man.
The amount of F-bombs that come out of Brendan Fraser's mechanical mouth
is insane. Him and Crazy Jane are just their potty mouths to like no end.
It's ridiculous.
So he pretty much tells him that. So the ghost is flying around. And then last season, there were sex ghosts that were flying around in the thing. Yeah. So they pop up randomly.
Yeah.
And they're just going at it out of nowhere.
You had me at sex ghosts.
There it is. I told you we reel you in. And it gets better when we continue.
The show is insane, dude.
So the sex ghosts, there's 2 of them are going at it. And the girl goes ahead and like waves Niles on. And at first he's like, no, I can't. And then he's like, oh, what the hell? And he pops out of the wheelchair, and he's going over to join in a 3-way, and that's where the episode ends. The first episode of this season.
I smell a T-shirt. I smell a T-shirt coming.
Oh boy,
sex ghosts, sex ghosts.
So in episode 2, we meet a guy named Gorax the Decimator.
I love this guy.
Tim,
I love this
Tim,
guy.
Another thing, I'm not joking. I thought of you when I was watching this. This guy Gorax has like a manservant who bursts into a room before he walks in and has like one of those old like
phonographs,
like phonograph things, like where you play like a record. And he introduces him and plays this whole entrance music for him before he walks into every room. And this is his job.
And there's a great moment because they're going undercover at a spa, like a vacation spot, and they're waiting for, we don't know why. We still don't know why, but they were given instructions to murder
the Brotherhood of Evil.
From the Brotherhood of Evil to murder Elastigirl when she eventually comes to this spa. And this was like, what, the 1960s or 70s or 80s? Like,
at that point,
decades ago. And so he goes there with his manservant. He is green. Like, his skin is green. The manservant's skin is red. And he goes, look, to the manservant, we're going to have to be undercover. We're going to have to, like, you know, just be in with everyone. We can't stand out. We got to be real careful and just be covert. And then it smash cuts to this red guy walking with the phonograph, like, and they like he announces this guy into the buffet, and everyone looks at him. It is so goddamn funny.
And he's like, Gorax, the decimator of worlds, and blah blah blah. And I was like, I wouldn't be so bad to have this guy. Maybe you want this guy before you walk into the room to start doing this whole thing. And give me this whole like intros. It was awesome. It was absolutely hilarious.
Look, I've added that to the ridiculous, frivolous things I'd waste my money on if I ever won the lottery.
To hire a guy like that to start, that's all.
Painted red. He's got to be painted red. It's got to be an old phonograph. But yes, absolutely. Just to announce my presence every time I go somewhere.
I love it. So they run into Gorax at this like vacation spot, which by the time the Doom Patrol go there, because they're like, listen, we need to take a vacation. We've had a lot of shit to deal with. We got to work some stuff out. Let's just go chill at this like random resort. And they run into him there.
Before we forget, we didn't address what happens to Matt Bomer's character. I always forget his name.
Negative Man.
Negative Man. So he leaves in that first season or that first episode and goes off into space with the entity. And is that the last we've seen of him so far?
No, he comes back, but he comes back without the spirit.
Okay. I just don't remember when that happens. But
yeah, he comes back.
And then he comes back in that episode where he's alone in the house without the negative sphere and no powers pretty much.
Yeah, he's just himself.
Yeah, just himself. So it's important to know that Matt Bomer did not go on vacation with the rest of the Doom Patrol because it ties into the end of the episode.
Yeah, so while they're on vacation and stuff, they have like a dance number and stuff like that, and they're all hanging out and chilling, and there's a lot of wacky shit that goes on.
It's a lot of fun.
But towards the end of it, though, Gorax is like, he sees Elastigirl and stuff, and he's just like...
Before you get there, because there is a cool scene before that leads up to that, where Brendan Fraser, Robot Man, goes into the sauna. I don't know why.
Oh, yes.
And Gorax the Destroyer is in the sauna. And at this point, like no one goes to this vacation spot anymore. Gorax the Destroyer and his manservant just live there somehow. There's no one else there except for even the staff, right? I mean, I don't even see
his staff. Somehow food keeps showing up and things like that.
Right. But him and Robot Man are talking, and Niles Calder comes up, right? Because the reason he was given this issue. Oh no! The reason that his mission is over now is because the evil group has been destroyed by the actual Doom Patrol and Niles Calder. So everyone hates Niles Calder, and they bond over it. And then they see each other in the restaurant place. And they're like, no, he's cool. And then we lead to Gorax seeing Elastigirl, and then he has that moment that, Eddie, I'll let you explain. I just wanted to talk about the lead up to that.
Well, no, go ahead. Explain it.
So he has the moment where he goes, she's here, and we've been here for so long, but what's the point? Like, the Legion of Evil is dead, and she seems really nice. They're all really nice. The big brain, he says something like the big brain or something like that.
Yeah,
we haven't heard from the big brain in a long time. We're done. Let's just get out of here. And I love that moment. And then they go to leave.
Yeah, they're about to go, and apparently the manservant decides that they have to finish the mission. It has to be done. So he pulls out this huge like laser thing, which by the way, he was standing behind and gyrating earlier in the episode because it looks like, you know, a fucking huge dong he has that's running over there. And he takes it though, and Gorax walks into this room where the Doom Patrol is, and he's like, run. And he falls over. The manservant shot him with this thing and shoots the entire Doom Patrol and kills all of them.
Okay.
Yes. And Elastigirl actually is about to escape. She gets that back door open, and who but Elastigirl walks up, says, I'm sorry, pushes her back in, shuts the door, and jams it so she can't get out.
Mm-hmm. Which I thought was really, really interesting.
Very interesting.
But then, so they essentially that episode ends with Doom Patrol getting slaughtered by this, and then the next episode starts where we meet the Dead Boy Detective Agency.
The Dead Boy Detective Agency, that was so fun.
Yeah, so you have the Dead Boy Detective Agency because Negative Man is in the mansion and he gets essentially mailed in boxes the dead bodies of the Doom Patrol. And he's just like, all right, obviously something's going on here.
Yes.
He puts them at a table and wraps them up in like this mummified stuff that like he has, which is very bizarre and
very strange.
He has a really funny comment about it later.
But that's the thing is they keep calling him on that. Like multiple people, like the daughter comes home, Niles Calder's daughter comes home, and she goes, so our friends are dead and they were mailed to us. And your first instinct was to play dress up and serve them tea because they're sitting around a table.
Yeah, so the daughter goes ahead and reaches out to Danny, who, by the way, Danny the Street is no longer Danny the Street. Apparently he's Danny the Ambulance now.
Danny the Ambulance.
Who's like, oh yeah, I know someone who can help you with this. And he gets the Dead Boy Detective Agency and brings them over, and they go through this entire mission to try to go ahead and bring the Doom Patrol back. And then while during the episode, they're all dealing with their own things, like Cyborg sees his mother and has this whole conversation with his mother, and Elastigirl has her whole thing that they're pretty much dealing with their past in all different ways. And I think probably the most interesting one was Robot Man meets his father, talks to his father, and has a whole like deep conversation with him about a lot of stuff that they needed to hash out. And Crazy Jane has her whole thing where she goes in and is discussing a lot of stuff with her past. So they're all dealing with individual things while they're dead. And the Dead Boy Detective Agency essentially ends up like bringing them back to life by the end of the episode. And, they all get revived and there's a whole battle and everything like that. So
yeah, because the whole thing is like the more serious, creepy Dead Boy actually had gone into the afterlife and escaped. And so the only way you can get into the afterlife is if you have a key, and the only way you have a key is if you've been there. And that was the whole thing. So he gets them in, and Death is actually trying to get them back. And Robot Man has a great line like, wait, so there's a Death, an actual physical specter of death, which I think is funny. So they literally go into the afterlife to grab their souls to put them back into their bodies.
Yeah, and the Dead
Cyborg?
Boy Detective.
Are you saying Cyborg?
Yeah, Cyborg's part
okay.
of the Doom Patrol.
Okay.
He's the one who's the hero, who's trying to get them to be heroes.
Yeah.
They're all like, we're not heroes. We're losers. Like, what are you doing here? Like, why? It's pretty funny, the whole dynamic that they have with it. He's a really great cyborg, the kid who plays.
He is. I like him a lot.
Yeah, he's really good. But the Dead Boy Detective Agency are British. And one of them is insisting, he's like, this is an American afterlife. I use a baseball bat. And he pulls out a baseball bat, and they keep calling him on it. They go, what are you going to do with this baseball bat? He goes, it's an American afterlife. I'm using the baseball bat. Leave me alone.
I love that.
I thought that was priceless.
I thought that was hysterical. That was awesome.
So if that wasn't crazy enough, episode 4 gives us an episode where I want to skip right to what happens.
Yeah.
So the Doom Patrol, little by little, turns into zombies. And they're walking around looking for brains and stuff like that, and they're trying to eat brains, but they're still like when they're like they have subtitles for what they're actually saying,
which I thought was funny.
That was actually really funny. And
we see the return of the other magic guy,
Willoughby. Yeah, who's kind of like a Constantine, I think.
Yeah, I thought he was Constantine when I first saw him until I learned his name.
He's like poor man's Constantine.
He's the poor man's Constantine, exactly.
Yeah, pretty much. But he's really funny though because he ends up cutting off Niles Calder's head and has
Yes!
Niles Calder. He carries Niles' head around with him, who starts chatting and talking it up, and he kind of uses like him as a ventriloquist to talk to this unicorn that he's obsessed with.
Yes.
He's like trying to bang this unicorn.
Yes.
And, I'm sure Tim's like, all right, this is the show I'm supposed to watch.
Should I take an edible before I watch?
You probably should.
No, you don't need to because it's almost like watching this show is almost like you are having one.
It sounds like I'm on an edible right now. I was like, what?
Yeah. So that's how the episode starts off. And then little by little, you see the members of the Doom Patrol are scratching and itching and stuff like that. And they end up turning into zombies eventually. And they're trying to go after Brains. And that's pretty much all they're obsessed with. And by the way, Willoughby's hats that he has him put on with a little thing that deters them away from it. And then she's like, wait, why a hat? I was like, well, because I'm cold. I just want to keep my hat.
It's great, yeah.
Okay, fine. But it deters them. But he ends up taking the Doom Patrol. It turns out Niles figured out a way when he was alive to fix zombies, that they apparently crave brains because there's something in there that can heal them and reverse the process, which I thought was very interesting. And he also calls out zombie movies.
He does, yes, which I thought was
saying
cool.
that was something they kind of omit because it makes a better story and a more horrifying thing. But the big part of this episode, and what I think might be one of the craziest things on this entire show that they've ever done, was they have the zombie Doom Patrol fighting asses.
Yeah, yes.
There are people who literally turn into evil asses. Like they've morphed into asses with teeth and that are trying to fight them.
Yes.
And the Doom Patrol ends up eating the asses.
They do.
So you know exactly what they're going for with this. That was wild. In a barn. They're all doing this in a fucking barn somewhere.
It's such an insane episode.
That was wild.
And I love that they referenced that in this newer episode where
Robot
crazy train and unless they're zombie asses, pound.
Exactly. But eventually they end up eating Niles' head because he said, hey, listen, the least I can do for these people is to try to save their lives. And he sacrifices it, and they all end up eating his brains. And that's how they end up becoming unzombified.
Which I think it's a very awesome end if it's going to be the end of this character. We don't know. He still could be a ghost. He's still fucking around, literally, in the house, right? But if it's going to be the end of this character, I think it's a nice end. It's a nice bookend because we found out he ruined their lives. So this is him giving his own afterlife or whatever it is to give them back their lives. So, and I like that. I like that he's not a good guy, but he's not a bad guy either. He does regret what he did to them, but like we talked before, like, would you put a bullet in the head of an innocent person to save your child? Of course you would. Yeah.
So he was just trying to do whatever he had to do for his daughter.
Right.
So then that takes us to this week's episode that dropped on Thursday, where the Doom Patrol, they do reference some of the zombie stuff and things like that. And they're like, let's not talk about that. We're not cannibals and stuff like that. Like, that's over. And it's like, don't ever bring that day up ever again. Mm-hmm. But a lot of this focuses on, the name of the, group that they were after in this.
Oh, Dada, right? The Sisterhood of Dada.
Yes. The Sisterhood of Dada is what they're after in this one. And they all go, and they kind of go through similar, like, side missions to what they're kind of like all broken up and like dealing with some of their past and stuff like that. But Sisterhood of Dada apparently is a time traveler who like drills through the fucking earth, like the sorry, not the actual thing, but what was her name again? The
Maggie?
Character Maggie
something or other, I forget. But yeah, she's an older British woman who is dressed in steampunk. Right, mm-hmm. She's literally got like the aviator cap from the 1920s. And she's got this steampunk time machine that drills through the center of the earth and comes back up. It's like it kind of looks like one of those things from that Krang had in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cartoon, the drillers. Yeah. It's kind of like one of those, but it's got 3 drills, and it looks steampunk.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, they pretty much are going ahead and dealing with the Sisterhood of Dada this episode, And you turns out that Elastigirl is kind of like known as like she kind of gets labeled. It seems like she wanted to be labeled a world-renowned time traveler for a couple episodes of the season.
Because she remembers seeing herself. Like, she knows she must have, like, she's not stupid, and that's what I like about this show. She comes back into the house. Oh, there's a time traveler and a time machine. And, oh, there was me. I killed myself. I saw myself do this. Obviously, I traveled through time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, she's like, I'm a world-renowned time traveler because obviously I've traveled through time, so why not?
Yeah, so by the end of it, she ends up getting her, time traveling and stuff, and she's about to, so that's not going to go well.
No, but I'll tell you something. It got to the end, and I was like, no, it can't be the end. I want to see this one. Like, this one really hooked me, where I was like, no, come on, more.
Well, we also get a brief mid-credit scene that introduces one of the asses as a zombie.
This is true.
There's another ass running around that's a zombie because I'm assuming because the zombies ate them and bit them and stuff, so now they're infected.
Now we have a zombie ass.
We have a zombie ass running loose in the world of Doom Patrol. Tim, does this sound like a show that you should be interested in?
This sounds like 13-year-olds wrote this show.
No, but it's well written,
really
though.
well done, actually.
I'm just saying, like 13-year-old, like, dude, we gotta have zombie asses. Oh my god, that'd be great.
Yes.
But it's not. No, I'm now that Titans is over, I'm gonna get into it.
Well, almost
over.
What do we have? How many Titans we have? Just one more?
I don't know because I haven't seen a number count. But whatever. Let's transition to Titans.
Okay.
We know that's where we're heading.
Because this better not have been the last one for the season.
No, I'd be fucking furious if that was the last one of the season. So we have the last 2 episodes of Titans. Jason, do you mind starting us off with this? Because I actually may have just accidentally deleted my notes on this.
Shit, I don't have notes on this one.
All right, so go ahead. You can start it.
So, Tim, do you have notes on this one?
No.
Well, we'll get it back. We are going to get this back.
All right. Well, anyway, this is an interesting. I'll talk about the season, the series, the episode overall. It's an episode, and that's the thing. I don't have notes, and I usually take notes. And
two more episodes, by the way. 2 more episodes.
Oh, you do have an episode, all right? So 13 is
good.
Be
I have a IMDb. There's 2 more coming out.
Nice. Take notes on this. Anyway, I kind of thought this was an interesting episode, but kind of forgettable in the sort of paradigm of looking at the one that we just had, because there's not a lot of Scarecrow in the episode 10.
No, which is never good.
And that's just, if I have made my bias clear, it is I have a Batman bias. So like I don't really remember much about this episode because there's not a lot of Batman in it.
Well, guess who found their notes? It's all good.
Oh, thank you, because I got you.
I got you. So pretty much in the episode 10, Scarecrow flips the story as that he's pretty much tells Gotham, "Oh, the Titans they're the ones who infected the water supply with the fear gas," which I'm like, people really are stupid, I guess. They're actually going to buy this one.
I thought the same exact thing in the last episode. I said Gotham is South Park, basically. The worst place you could possibly want to live. But everyone is dumb in that town. So
there are people who drank the water. They're running around. There's it was kind of similar to that episode of Supergirl where a lot of people were just going ahead and having chaos and stuff like that and violence. One of my favorite things, by the way, and I'm glad Tim is here for this, they show a scene where Superboy literally flicks a guy and knocks him out.
Yeah.
He just wham and just goes in and takes care of him in the middle of a fight. I thought that was pretty awesome. And then Red Hood goes ahead and pays off the GCPD prior, so the Titans go ahead and turn themselves in.
Which I think this is an awesome fight scene, and this is just I didn't expect this to be as cool as it was. Like them coming in costume, hands up, expecting to be. The whole thing was supposed to happen. He worked it out with Nightwing worked it out with Barbara that they were going to come in. They were going to do a night in jail. They were going to make bail. They were going to get the hell out of there, and they were going to go underground. Mm-hmm. And what happens is they get there, and people are opening fire. The cops start fighting them, and they literally have to fight their way out of the GCPD. Yeah,
and it is a really, really good fight scene. But it ends up ending where Barb goes ahead and shoots another cop.
Yeah, because the cop was going to shoot Nightwing, and she gives him a warning, and then she winds up shooting him, and she goes to prison for that, which I'm not okay with.
No, I'm not okay with like at all. I was like a little weirded out by that. I was like, really? Is that?
By the way,
is
what
that
do you guys? Since I haven't been on in a while, what do you guys think of Dick? They just call his show Dick Grayson semicolon pimp because this dude has slept with everybody. Everybody.
Yeah.
Barbara
Yeah.
Gordon, Starfire, Dove. He just doesn't care.
Which
I
the
believe-
Starfire thing never went anywhere. That's like
No.
never even acknowledged ever again. I think
Still,
that was
they
really
never
bad.
acknowledged, but still.
Yeah,
but they,
I
yeah,
agree.
but they just hooked up. That was fun. Hey, look, stuff like that happens. But I think that's
He's a pimp.
that's canon, right? Like, doesn't he like get around in
Yeah,
the Nightwing
he does.
comics?
He does.
Nice.
So yeah,
He does.
he gets into it. Wait, I heard he had sex with Harley Quinn in one of the Nightwing comics.
I
There you
think.
go.
I actually think that's a thing too.
Dick Grayson, pimp. That should be the new comic.
That's right.
Pimp.
He's in the Nightwing outfit, but he's got like the pimp coat and the staff and the hat.
It's such a great show, man. I'm like obsessed with this show. It's so good.
So Blackfire gets injured, by the way, during this fight,
Yeah.
and Starfire like kind of goes in and like this power is stolen. That's there. So
Yeah, and it's unclear. Do you think she did it on purpose, or do you think it was just like it happened? Because Starfire thinks she did it on purpose, and Blackfire says she didn't. So what do you guys think?
I think she did do it on purpose. I don't think she was totally innocent of this. I don't know all of her intentions of it, but I think what we found out in this week's episode was really interesting because we do find, we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
But I think there is something to that. That I don't think she orchestrated the whole thing just to get injured so she could lure him to stealing it. I don't think it was that I don't think it was that well thought out.
Yeah, but she took advantage of the situation that appeared.
Exactly. That's kind of what I think happened. There was also, by the way, so the Titans are wanted throughout Gotham. There are wanted posters of Crypto that they show in the background.
I didn't notice that.
I thought that was phenomenal. That Crypto they have wanted posters for Crypto. That was great. Crypto's pretty badass in his show, by the way, where he kind of just appears in at times.
I love Crypto. I love the way they use him. It's just enough. It's never cheesy. But I just think it's ridiculous that a dog has a wanted poster.
I thought that was great. I forgot what scene they showed that in, but there's wanted posters for Crypto. And then another thing, Donna Troy is being tested by that woman Lydia, throughout the episode. They kind of have this like side thing, which I didn't think was like the most interesting storyline of the episode at all, but it just constantly seems like that's going on throughout the episode. And then by the end of it, yeah, there it is.
There you go.
Priceless. So by the end of the episode, though, Crane and Red Hood take over Wayne Manor.
Yes.
Which leads us into this episode.
Which does that suggest to you that he has to die now?
Oh, I thought the same thing. He has to die. He knows who Bruce Wayne is.
Yeah, he knows everything, so he's going to have to die. Jason won't die. Jason will never rat. Even no matter how bad he turns, I don't think he will ever just rat. Kind of like the Joker. He's like, I'm not going to tell. I need you to, to be me. That kind of thing. But Crane's going to die.
He's never going to.
Crane's going to die.
Jason's never going to go public, but Jason ratted to Crane. I mean, he'll rat. It's just not to the authorities. He won't make it public. It's almost like it's an in the family thing, and those criminals are part of the family in some weird, warped way.
Yeah, I can see that. So that takes us in episode 11 and our music that kicked off the episode because it opens up at waterfalls. And
he's shaving. I love that. That's his shaven music.
Yes, and he's actually playing it. It's not just like the show is using that. He's actually playing Waterfalls while he's shaving and cleaning himself up and enjoying Wayne Manor and everything that's there. Everything's all hunky-dory. He has a pizza delivered there.
Like, every episode that the Scarecrow is in makes me go, holy shit, he's so crazy. He's much crazier than I thought last episode. Because in one of the last episodes, we saw him murder his mother.
Yes.
And you know what? That's not sane. But I could get it if you had an abusive mother like he did. I get the desire to kill the abuser. It's not sane to do it, but I get the desire. But what happens here?
Well, let's get to the reason why, though, it happens.
Okay. Yeah, let's
he goes ahead and gets into the Batcave, breaks into Bruce's files and everything like that. and he gets to his file and he starts listening to it.
Which
and pretty much, yeah, it gets pretty ugly. The gist of it is that Bruce is pretty much saying, like, listen, Crane's kind of like a bitch, but Scarecrow's the one who's like really the mouthpiece that you got to worry about here. And then that drives him up the wall where he's like, no, I got to prove it because now his mother's pretty much told him that. Bruce Wayne is telling him that and his assessment when he doesn't like really know him like that. But he knows Bruce is right throughout this entire detailed file, which to me was great because it even props up Batman even further, this version of Batman again, where he shows he's got him nailed perfectly. So he has a pizza delivered to the house just so he can fuck with this guy with a fucking blade to prove that Bruce is wrong.
He's got it's such a great scene. So he's standing there, the pizza guy comes, and it's like he kind of looks like David Cross from Arrested Development. He's got like that mustache, and he's got he's got the hat on, but he's not like a very glamorous looking guy or anything like that. He's like a regular looking guy, and it's important because Crane goes, oh, I forgot the money. I'll be right back. And he's being really friendly with him, and he goes out one door, he comes back in the other, and he just beats this guy over the head with a mallet. He's like, I really like a stacked kitchen. Right? And this is Crane sort of taking an everyman and what he does next is to try to prove Bruce Wayne wrong or Batman wrong, even though he personally knows he's not. Like, he knows that. Yeah, and Batman says, which I want to point out in his analysis, is that Crane is pitiable. I feel bad for Jonathan Crane. And the worst thing you could do for narcissists like this is to tell them that you feel bad for them because it takes away their power. And that's exactly what happened here.
He ends up gutting a guy with a fucking blade.
Yes, exactly. I wanted to leave it for you, Ed, but yes, he does.
And he ends up gutting a guy eventually.
And himself.
Yes. And he slices himself up like that, too.
And he is. And it's not just like you cut, it's that, and then you cut to it's gutted. You watch him torture him. Like
over the whole episode, they keep coming back to it.
Like you don't see him physically torture him. That's sort of off screen, which I was thankful for. But like the psychological torture of like he takes the knife and he's like, well, what scares you? Do I slice your face? Do I take your nose? Do I take your ear? Oh, that's what scares you. Like he's testing him to see what his triggers are. Like you see him using his his knowledge of people in psychology to fuck with this guy and torture him psychologically to prove that he's capable of it to Batman who isn't there. He
has to be able to create fear.
Yes.
And that's Crane. As Crane. He can't be with Scarecrow because he does find the Scarecrow mask and everything like that. And is insisting throughout the entire episode, and it keeps on going through the end, that the time for masks are over. That's it. Like, I'm Jonathan Crane is the villain, not Scarecrow.
Which I love.
To prove that.
I love that. Like, no, I'm not going to hide anymore. I'm the villain. There's my mask. It's scary. No, I'm the fucking villain. I'm love
more
that
scary than the mask is.
Yeah.
But what's kind of weird about it is, don't forget in the previous episode, he shot Timothy Drake with no problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I thought it was kind of weird that they had to test him with the blade. I mean, he did just shoot a kid for no reason whatsoever in the back, and he kind of teased him with it too.
Yeah, but I don't think the goal was there. I don't think he was necessarily. I think when he read Bruce's or listened to Bruce's audio file, it was more about being intimidating and being like creating fear just by being himself. And I think when he shot Tim Drake, it wasn't necessarily like that. Like he needs to be feared, just by being Jonathan Crane. You know what I'm saying? Like, see me and be scared of me because I'm here. That's it. Shooting somebody is one thing, which I'm not trying to sound like it's trivial or anything like that.
No, but it would.
You know what I mean? Like, as soon as you see me, you're gonna shit your pants.
Right. It would have been different if he used the gun and made him beg for his life or made him afraid, but he literally just shot him in the back. Like, the kid didn't even know it was coming. It wasn't even a big thing. Like, so, like, yes, it's not a big thing. It's terrible that he shot someone, but I agree with Eddie. There's a big difference between murdering someone, even in cold blood for no reason, and proving that you are to be feared as opposed to your alter ego.
I dig that. And what do you guys? Were you guys okay with the whole afterlife parts of the show?
Oh, a couple episodes ago?
Because I was kind of 50-50 with that. I was like, I don't know. I'm not digging this.
It was,
we weren't over the moon with it.
It was fine. I didn't love it, but I liked to get a goodbye to Hank. I thought that was nice.
That's pretty much
especially putting Tim Drake in that situation.
Yeah,
because now Tim Drake is just like, you died.
Yeah,
and you came back, and I don't know. It makes him more. How do I put it? Not that Robin isn't special, but it makes him more, like a bigger character now than a Robin should be. Like I like little kid Robin, just being a kid who learns how to fight and kick some ass. Now he's like, dude, I died. I was dead. I hung out on a train with a bunch of dead people, including Wonder Girl, who, by the way, I love. And
she's gorgeous.
Oh my god, I love her. Especially that last episode where she had her hair back. I was like, dude, I'm gonna keep watching this one over and over again. But yeah,
I think though, if this were a Batman show, I'd be 100% in agreement with you, because they've made some choices. They've made some bold choices with this Tim Drake. Like, he's much older than the comic book was when he got when he becomes Robin. As you said, like the whole, now that he's dead. And he's got this almost supernatural connection, not that he's supernatural, but you're right. It makes him bigger than he is. I think if it was a Batman show, I'd be against it. But if they are grooming him to be a Titan, I think it makes more sense, because if you're a Titan, you need more agency than you do if you are a Robin to Batman. So, like, I think they're grooming him to be Nightwing's Robin instead of Batman's. And if that's what they're doing, I'm okay with the changes.
That's cool. No, I dig it.
But I agree with you, though. Like, there are certain things that it doesn't feel right for a Robin to, like, it's too powerful for a Robin who's just becoming Robin.
Mm-hmm. Well, like you said, though, he is older. He is, they're never going to have a little kid.
No.
They're never going to find an actor, I think, who can pull that off. But also, real quick, though, I mean, come on. How much are you guys thinking the same way I am? That he's going to put on the bat suit. He's going to put on the bat suit. He's going to put on the bat suit. He's going to put on the bat. The last two episodes, I'm like, he's going to put that fucking suit. But then again, it goes back to when we talked earlier in the season. You'll never see a TV Batman, I don't think, ever.
Yeah,
but this show's really teasing it. Like, dude, he's going to put on the fucking bat suit, and everyone's going to lose their mind. So I don't know. What do you guys do? You think 2 more episodes? Is that suit coming on?
I wanted to, but I don't know. I'd like it to. It would make sense if it did. I don't know if they're going to go there. That's the thing. Like,
the only thing I think I changed my mind to yes for one reason is because Nightwing is now in Public Enemy #1, and now he's about spoiler
good
alert.
Point. That's a good point.
Now he's dead and probably going to be thrown into the to the pit or whatever.
Yeah, they found the pit. Yeah, we're not even like talking about the finer points of this episode. Like, they found the Lazarus pit. And people are killing Nightwing. Like, someone, like, not like he beats the shit out of Jason Todd. Yeah. And a teenager like gets a lucky shot, shoots him in the neck, and a group just comes by, starts chanting Red Hood, and they start kicking the shit out of him. And even Jason Todd's like, whoa, like
this has gotten out of hand now. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Well, I was actually the point I was gonna get to was one thing that Crane does do in the beginning of the episode, though. He does set into motion, puts the idea in Jason's head again, continue to puppet him. You have to kill Nightwing. You have to go fight Nightwing. That's it. So the end of the episode, he's luring him. He's got to fight. We got to have this final showdown. And that's pretty much what ends up happening, like Jason just described. Spoiler alert, he goes in and gets shot. And he's bleeding out, essentially, and getting the shit kicked out of him by a fucking angry mob.
And I think it's important. I think that what changed Jason, I think the reason Jason's realizing, I don't know if I'm okay with this, is because there's a moment where Nightwing takes Jason's gun and Jason's on the floor and he puts the gun to his head. And Jason expects him to pull the trigger. And even Dick wants to pull the trigger, but he doesn't. And I think that moment where Jason realizes, even after everything I've done to this guy, even I'm trying to kill him and he still can't kill me, still can't do that. I think that's what's eventually going to make Jason turn against Scarecrow, and I think that's what we're going to see in the next episode, personally.
Yeah, I agree with that. Tim, it's a follow-up on Tim's question, though. I'm starting to wonder, I'm getting swayed that we're going to end up seeing some sort of Batman, whether it's Dick Grayson. That's actually a good one, Tim. I like that, where Nightwing is Public Enemy #1, so maybe he goes in as Batman, and then everyone's like, oh shit, Batman's back and saving the day. And they're not going to stay in Gotham forever. They're going to leave Gotham eventually, so that kind of resets it. But I also want to know, like, Donna Troy saved Bruce Wayne. when he was about to off himself a couple episodes ago. We've seen Donna. You haven't seen Bruce yet. Bruce is like at the deli getting a sandwich or something. I don't know where the hell he is.
He's getting the chopped cheese in the corner.
He might be. I don't know. Or, maybe he's like working out or something. Like, who the hell knows? But I have a feeling we haven't seen the last of Bruce with this. And I don't think Bruce should come in the last moment and be the hero of the whole season. I don't think we're seeing that. But I'm curious to see what they're going to do with him, because there's got to be something really cool that we're going to get with this guy.
I personally think Dick's going to put on the bat suit, because like I said, Nightwing's number one. He's going to put on the bat suit. Everyone's like, holy shit, like you said, Batman's back, and he's going to kick ass. And Bruce will show up and be like, how'd that feel? That felt good, right? You can't deny that felt good. that kind of thing. But I always laugh too, because there's Crane in his house and Crane in his bed and Crane wearing his clothes. I believe, like, I'm in my mind, I'm sitting there watching going, dude, Bruce Wayne's watching you right now. But he's kind of sitting back. He's kind of sitting back waiting to see how Dick Grayson handles it, how the Titans handle it, and he's not really ready to come back. But he knows you're in his house.
Oh, absolutely.
He's probably watching, like, Dick, you asshole, don't touch that. That's my favorite guy. Like, he's really, keeping an eye on things. There's no way he's just off somewhere in the woods chilling out by himself, or as they said, eating a sandwich in a diner, just like, oh, I'm by myself. No way. There's no way it's happening.
He's watching it, tallying everything he has to burn when he goes back home.
Burn the whole damn thing down.
Fuck, I like that tie. Burn the tie. Oh, Crane touched that wall. It's a load-bearing wall. Burn the room.
And you know how we've never seen the bat suit. So I'm considering that there's a part of that cave that even Jason can't get in. There's probably a whole section that you can't get in there.
Good point.
And because there's no way anyone could just walk in the. I don't care who you are. He's going to allow you to walk into the Batcave. I don't care who you are.
No, I think the only person that he's going to give full access to the Batcave to is Dick Grayson.
Yeah,
and even then, only when he is gone.
Yeah, because now you're Jonathan Crane. You're not going to put on that suit and run around the house like an asshole. I know I'm going to put the suit on.
Dude, I'm Jason Pachetic, and I'm going to do that.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not even a villain.
I'm going to put that suit on and run around the house and just watch TV in that suit. There's no way I'm not putting on a bat suit if I break into a bat. It's just not going to happen.
I'm going to spend an hour in his room of mirrors, which he has, in the bat suit, just going, I'm Batman. Let me try that again. I'm Batman. One more time.
There's no way. So I think Dick's gonna get into that part of the cave, put that suit on, be the hero, and then Bruce will be like, yeah, dude, how'd that feel? I felt good, right? But all right, I'm back. Go back to San Francisco, and that's how that arc's gonna end.
And we did have that line, like, be a better Batman than me.
Yeah, with Tim Drake. With Tim Drake, I think he's gonna, end up being Robin by the end of this season.
Other storylines that we get though is that regarding Starfire, they follow up on that, and then we find out that she wasn't the one who had the powers on Tamarin. It was actually Blackfire that was born with them, and her father had someone essentially take those powers and give them to Starfire because she was like, the one that was going to be, they kind of hid the fact that she was an heir to the throne but didn't have powers. Then when the second daughter came along, took the powers from her and gave them to her to justify it.
Why do they hate her sister so much? Like, is it just because they really hate that girl?
Well, they put themselves out there and they were lying for years to the whole public and everything. They're like, hey, oh yeah, this is the new daughter who's going to take over. She's worthy. She's all of this. And they were just covering up their lie and ended up shitting on Blackfire during that, which is really fucked up.
Seriously, like I didn't know if I believed her story about them like willing to string her out and be the scapegoat for why Starfire wouldn't come back. But after this episode, I completely believe it. Like, I don't really think she's a bad guy.
No, it's pretty fucked up. What they ended up like.
She's eccentric. She's eccentric. She's eccentric, and it's just a different world.
Yeah.
Just how it is.
So, and another thing that is so Raven and Gar are chasing down, and they end up finding the Lazarus Pit at some point, which I'm sure is going to come into play with saving Dick.
Yeah.
Because when Dick gets shot, you see Raven has this like whole crazy thing that they don't really get into, which I'm sure they'll get into the next episode.
And she knows. She says like something's happened to Dick, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's something like that. So you knew. I thought that was pretty cool. So one thing I thought that was going to drive Tim up the wall was, Tim, I'm shocked you haven't brought this up yet, but Dick's choice when he's gonna go fight Red Hood, and Superboy's like, dude, I'm just gonna tell you the truth. I'm stronger, I'm faster, and I'm all of this than you. Like,
I'm going.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
And he's like, damn, I wish you wouldn't have said that. And he blows this like kryptonite dust into his face and knocks him out. And Crypto, again, poor Crypto comes along and he does the same thing to do. And you knock Crypto out and he falls on his side. Not killing them, but like just knocking him out for now.
Well, that's the problem with having a Superboy on the team. You gotta, because he could pretty much mop the whole thing up by himself, but you can't do that on a show like that.
And he even says something too, like, and I don't mean to go like Lex Luthor on you about this, but it's kind of
that's why the Super Friends really doesn't make any sense. Superman can handle pretty much almost all those problems by himself when you really break it down. But for the sake of it, you got to have the awesome team going on.
But there's one thing Superman can't do with Super Friends, though, is he can't turn himself into a bucket, form of a bucket of water and an eagle, because you always need that to defeat evil.
You always need a bucket of water.
When are we going to get the Super Twins gritty reboot? I want to watch. I want to see.
You know how much I would love to see them bring them into Titans in some way, shape, or form?
I would love it. I would love it.
They were on Smallville in a very small part. They were on Smallville.
Did one turn into a bucket and the other an eagle?
They were not as corny as the cartoon. I honestly don't remember what they actually did on Smallville, but I know they were on there because when I heard the name, I was like, no fucking way. Don't tell me.
Tim told me that. Tim, I remember you telling me that. And they're like, dude, because I was always anti-Smallville. He was like, dude, fucking twins are on there. The Wonder Twins are fucking on there. How are you not watching this?
That's crazy. I kind of want to go back and watch it now.
Smallville, for the first 2 seasons, maybe, is a little teenage kind of show of Clark being a teenager, dealing with these powers, and then it gets really good. It starts getting good when he starts exploring his Kryptonian heritage and all the other shit. Then it gets real good. So I recommend it if you want to go back and watch something.
Yeah, maybe I will.
All right, so let's move on. I'm glad that we now actually have an episode count. Thanks, we know how many episodes of Titans. I'm like, dude, like you're really keeping it going. I don't see this slowing down anytime soon. Let's get to our movie of the week, which I'm going to put up the spoiler warning just in case you haven't seen it. It's been out for it.
Yeah, guys, spoiler warning for the mid-credit scene, which is all apparently anyone really cares about.
Yes. So we're going to discuss Venom, Let There Be Carnage. If you haven't seen it by now, it made a boatload of money, so apparently you're in the minority because, I mean, say what you will, these movies keep making money. It's not good. It's not good. I'm sorry. I'm not going to sugarcoat this shit. It's just not good. It's not a good movie. I mean, I don't know what to say. Just more of the. I'll put it this way. If you liked the original Venom, you're gonna like this movie. I'll put it that way. If that's your cup of tea, I think we can all agree with that, right?
I can agree with that.
Because I think we all feel the same way about the first movie.
Yes.
Right? Like we're all like, it had potential, but it's dumb. They're dumb movies. They're poorly written, dumb movies.
Speaking of movies written by kids, like little kids, this feels like another one written by little kids.
Yeah. I have to admit though, I did enjoy this a lot more than I did the first one.
I agree with you. I'm with you 100%. I think this movie, Tim, I'm sorry, Jason, you can say it because you coined it perfectly when we chatted about this the other night.
I think the first one would not commit to being a comedy. The first one wanted to be an action movie and a superhero movie and a funny movie and this and that, and it was nothing. I think this movie just went, look, this is a comedy. Fuck it. Who cares, right? That's people like the comedy. This is going to be a superhero comedy movie. And I think the fact that what proves that for me beyond a shadow of a doubt is in the first one, there was the Eddie Brock's love interest, and we got to get her back. And in this one, Eddie Brock's love interest is Venom. They're a married couple. I'm not saying like they're trying to do anything like, highbrow, but they treat them like a married couple. And that's a joke. And so this movie is just a comedy, and I accept it way more. If it's just telling me, look, I'm a comedy with Venom, and I'm going to bring in Woody Harrelson. He's going to do a throwback to Mickey Knox from Natural Born Killers, and it's funny. It's like I can give you a hell of a lot more leeway than I was able to give the first one. So that's kind of why I'm okay with this movie.
Yeah, I think it does. I agree. It leaned into the comedy more. I actually laughed out loud a couple of times.
Me too.
I'll admit that. I actually thought it was genuinely funny a couple of times, and the comedy lands more. It's not as like just weird, and you're like, wait, what the hell just happened? But the problem with it is just they don't explain anything. Things just happen with no explanation whatsoever, and it's not like it would have taken a lot to do. You could have had maybe an extra runtime of 3 minutes.
Yeah, just a couple of lines,
right? Like,
yeah.
So, like we talked about it, like we get Carnage and we get Shriek, and I want to say I'm happy that we got Shriek. I thought that was cool. I didn't expect it. I am a fan of the very poorly written Maximum Carnage comic book thing. It's poorly written, but I own it.
Super Nintendo game was better.
Fuck that Super Nintendo game. That was impossible to beat. And if anyone beat it, if anyone says you beat it, I will not believe you unless I sit and watch it, because I literally got up to the same goddamn fight and died. You only got 2 continues. It was impossible.
I touched on a nerve. My bad.
You did. It's okay. It's all right. I feel better. I even had the red cartridge. All right. I bought this game when it first came out. It was the only game with Cloak and Dagger in it.
Yes. Yes, it was. And you know how much Jason and Rick love Cloak and Dagger.
We are the 2 people in the world. But so I was happy that Shriek was in it. So there's some good things about this. But I think the perfect example of what you're saying, Ed, is okay. They all need to get someone to kill at their wedding for their rebirth. Okay, I get that. I'm with that. Shriek needs to kill the cop who blinded her. All right, fair enough. If a cop blinded me, I'd want to kill him too. If anyone blinded me and I was a supervillain, I'd want to kill him too. Carnage wants to kill Brock for betraying him. Okay, now I have problems with why Brock was there in the first place, but all right, Brock betrayed you. You want to kill him. Can anyone explain to me why Carnage wants to kill Venom?
Nope. Never happens.
Just does.
Can someone explain to me why Venom sees a red one and he's like, oh, that's a red one, and is scared? Explain that.
It's part of him.
It happens.
It's not really a red one. It's part of him.
Well, he says, oh, it's a red one. No,
I know.
I'm scared.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
right,
like,
I know.
Why?
No, but then 5 seconds later, he's like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
You'll let me eat everybody. It's okay.
Comes to nothing. Like, here's the thing: if I am a symbiote and I have taken over Tim, or Tim and I are together now internally. That sounds weird, but you know what I mean. And Tim says, "Can you kill that thing?" And I go, "Nah, it's too powerful." And he goes, "But I'll let you do whatever." Yeah, if I think that thing's going to kill me, I'm not going to change my mind.
Yeah,
because I'm not going to reap the benefits. I'm going to die. That scene made no sense. That scene was literally what would look cool in a trailer.
Yeah. And so we don't get any of that. Back to what Jason was saying, they still never explain why Cletus Cassidy has anything to do with Eddie Brock prior to Eddie obviously releasing the story that he does and pretty much finding the bodies with Venom's help and stuff like that, which I thought was actually pretty cool. But we never find that out why. There's still never an explanation of why Cletus has any issue, like some weird obsession with Eddie Brock. We still don't get that.
There's
at
nothing.
all. We don't know why Shriek has powers. That's never addressed either. Kind of important things you might want to, get into at some point. I don't know.
This is the first time where one of my biggest things with movies, I always say it. It's too long. It's too long. It's too long. This movie is like, dude, it's too short.
Yeah.
You just don't. There's just not enough. Everything happens so fast.
Yeah.
And so ridiculously fast. It's just like, oh my god. It's like yeah, we have to get this over with real quick. So we're gonna do this, and we're at the end. Dude, you left out a bunch of shit. But I will say one thing though. Like you guys said, I laughed out loud a couple times. The first half hour, 40 minutes, I liked. Because it was like a buddy, like they were like, fuck it, buddy cop movie. Buddy cop comedy, that's how we're gonna throw it out there. Like, I did. I liked it. I liked it. Then it's like, okay. Well, they start trying to get into their plot. I was like, oh no, here we go. It's like then I'm like, oh, I just want to get out of here. I just want to go home.
Fell apart.
Yeah, then it just fell apart after that. Buddy cop, fine. Rest of it, no, it was garbage.
I'm gonna say I don't even think it needs to be longer. I just think we need to take some useless scenes out and put useful scenes in.
Oh no, like I said, 3 minutes, 5 minutes.
No,
10
right, but
10 minutes.
Not a lot.
I don't mean a half hour. You
But
just need those little things to make it make sense.
But I'm even thinking like that scene where like Venom goes away and goes and gets drunk. It's like, what does that have to do with anything? That had nothing to do with the plot. Like there was no like tension. It's not like I thought for a second Venom was not going to come back and reunite with Eddie Brock and fight Carnage. So why was that scene even in there? I think that scene, that whole 10-minute thing was only in there to give what's her face, Jennifer.
Michelle Williams.
Michelle Williams. I don't know why I was thinking Jennifer. Give Michelle Williams something to do, which is just what she did in the first one. Bring him the fucking Venom suit. Like, no, take that time to establish real connections. Like, give me a reason why Eddie Brock why Carnage wants Eddie Brock there. And it's simple. This is what I thought they were going to do. Oh, I'm not stupid. I've put together that Eddie Brock and Venom is the same person, and I want that power somehow. Yeah. Done.
Yeah, instead of biting him by accident.
Right. He bit him by accident. He became Carnage by accident. That's so stupid.
Yeah. So if you had a flashback to him somehow seeing Eddie turn into Venom,
right,
and then get arrested, it's like, oh my god, this guy has that power. I got to get him here.
Yeah.
Right.
That would have been a perfect motivation for him to want Eddie to. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
but there was none of that. It was just like literally this movie states Eddie Brock tried to interview Cletus before, which I guess is the post-credit scene of the first one, fucked it up, and Cletus is going to give him Cassidy's going to give him another chance. And then Venom is able to make something of it. Like, what they're doing makes no sense. Like, why allude to a fucked up time? Like, just say, look, no. Do you remember the post-credit scene? This is what we're going to do. We're going to show you the post-credit scene from the last one and explain it. But they don't do that.
I actually, tell the truth, I didn't take that as the second time he went there because there were similar lines. I think they just kind of retconned it a little bit.
Yeah, but isn't there a line, though, like you messed this up before? I thought there was a line where Venom kind of says, well, you messed this up before.
I don't
know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I know he's talking about Michelle Williams, though. I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I think that's what he may have been referring to, something like that. I think they retconned it because I agree. They do that, and they kind of just so the way I took it is they retconned the scene. And I apologize. I was really trying to see this. I was trying to see the movie again before we did the show because I wanted to clarify a couple of things. And I'm pretty sure there's also going to be looking for answers that aren't there. But whatever. I let that go because I know they're not there. But yeah, I think they kind of retconned it a little bit. That's the way that I took that scene. I did say, it looks like, I was like, this looks awfully familiar. Well, one thing they did change, and a subject I want to talk about with this movie, is Cletus's fucking hair.
That's huge.
I was totally distracted by this ridiculous hairpiece they kept on putting on Woody Harrelson. I was talking to Rick about it yesterday, and I fully agree. They should have just let him go bald. Who cares about the fucking red hair from the comic? We don't need it. And it kind of just been like, hey, look, he's a crazy dude. Look at him. He looks just like he did in Natural Born Killers. And guess what? He's got a fucking symbiote now. Let's go.
Yeah, also because I assume the red hair had something to do with Carnage being red.
No.
I mean, just I mean, in the comics, kind of.
In the comics.
Yeah, I guess you can kind of be like,
you kind of got the hint because he has red hair. He's Carnage. But this one's like, no, that's a red one. So that means that he was already red. You don't need his hair then. You don't need his hair. Fucking let him be bald.
Yes, let him go because it looks.
But not only that though, but you have people wearing wigs. You can't tell. You honestly can't. Why would you put this in a movie?
Get a good
wig. You can obviously tell how bad they are.
It was bad. It was really, really bad.
Or make it a part of the character. If you really need that, make it a part of the character. Like he shows up bald and then he gets out and he's like, you know what? I need my hairpiece. Even that, I would be like, okay, at least it's a character thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not. It's not great. So I know, but I'll give her props. There was much more action, like Tim said. It doesn't stop. So mostly what you get in this movie is action. So if you're there for that, I can recommend that.
Yeah.
Like it's good. We get a lot of cool fights and stuff
Carnage
like that.
looks good. I think Carnage looks great. I think Venom looks great.
They both did. He looked great in the first movie too. The symbiotes looked cool.
Yes.
I have no problem with what the CGI that they use for these movies. It just comes down to shitty, lazy writing.
That's it.
Destroys both of these movies. You can give me the same cast with the same thing. If put it this way, if you told me Kevin Feige is producing the next Venom movie, I'm like, yes, we're gonna get a writer who is competent, and we're gonna actually get a good movie. And also, let's get into it then. The most talked about scene of this entire film, which is the mid-credit scene. And spoiler warnings on the bottom, so we don't want to hear any shit about it. We've been warned about this because it's fucking everywhere. After all these whole adventures and stuff like that, we get Eddie Brock is kind of like on an island that looks like somewhere they speak Spanish because he's watching a novela, which I thought was hilarious. That I actually thought was really funny that he's sitting there watching that, and Venom's talking about how much he loves the show. And they're there. And Venom starts telling Eddie about, man, there's like so many secrets and like so much knowledge that symbiotes have. It would literally blow your mind, literally just like destroy your brain and everything like that. And he hints at like a history is the way that I took it. Like there is a past that the symbiote has. And then all of a sudden shit goes haywire, right? It looks like the ramifications of something bigger going on, which we know what it is in a second. But then he's looking at the TV, and we get the Daily Bugle. J. Jonah Jameson is breaking the story of Peter Parker being Spider-Man. And yes, it is Tom Holland. J.K. Simmons is there. He's basically Venom was thrusted into the MCU.
We have been. We're in the MCU.
We're in the MCU now. But Venom goes ahead to the screen and sees Peter and licks the screen. So he obviously has some weird affinity for him. Now. There's a lot to fucking break down about this. And now this is where we can go wild with things. And now we're all smiling. Now we're all happy because we got past the bad parts of Venom. I can notice this right now.
Yeah, we've got past the movie. Now we can talk about the good stuff. Now we got past the movie,
so we can talk about this. All right. So Venom, Eddie Brock and Venom, Tom Hardy's fucking Eddie Brock is in the MCU at this moment. I believe, and I'm assuming you guys would agree, that this is what's happening somewhere else. When Doctor Strange and Peter, the part that we see in the trailer for No Way Home, when shit goes haywire and ends up fucking everything up and things go crazy.
And I think this is confirmation that we're going to see this Venom and Tom Hardy in that movie, even on a small scale. Yeah, right? I mean, this is confirmation.
I think we're going to get Venom in No Way Home, which I have mixed feelings about, but I'm kind of curious now. But see, I think a lot of things to break down about this is. What was the symbiote? What was Venom essentially referring to? He keeps talking about a past. My gut feeling, and I think I had told Jason about this before we went to see Bond the other day because we were talking about this.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna find out that he had a past with that universe's Peter Parker. I think they're gonna retcon some of this and they're gonna try to give you a version of the proper backstory for what the Venom Spider-Man relationship that we know that we've all complained about that doesn't exist in these films. I think he's going to say that wasn't his first time on Earth, that he was with Peter Parker before him. Am I going crazy? Am I reading too much into this? You think it sounds nuts? Roll with it.
I don't think it sounds nuts. I'm actually going to take it further. What if the information that this Venom was referring to is that the symbiotes have a connection through the multiverse? So maybe it wasn't this particular Venom that has that relationship with him, but if all of the Venoms through the multiverse share something, maybe it doesn't need to be this Venom. Some Venom at some point in a multiverse had a relationship with him, and that gives the motivation. So I think that's even crazier than what you said, but I think both are possible.
And I don't think it's Tom Holland, though. I think it's a Peter Parker. And I don't think it's Tobey Maguire. Agreed. I don't think it's Andrew Garfield.
Agreed. It's going to be.
I think it's another Peter Parker we haven't seen yet.
Yep. Absolutely. But it's going to be a Peter Parker that put the Spider-Man costume on, and that's the important part. Doesn't have to be Tom Holland. I mean, it's got to be Spider-Man.
Yeah. Sam, what do you think? Or do you have your own?
No. I kind of agree with that whole thing. Yeah, because if he had such a reaction to seeing Peter Parker in half the suit or whatever, he definitely knows him somehow. I actually was thinking it was Tobey Maguire's Venom in a way. Just
So
somehow, some way, maybe when he got blown up at the end of part 3, who knows where he went? Who knows what happened? I just think that would be a cool way to kind of bring him full circle.
Okay.
And give him a little bit of a personality because we know how bad Venom was in Spider-Man 3.
So you think it's a way to save that
kind of in a way.
Yeah.
But real quick though, I said I took Jack to see it, my son, and his reaction was priceless. Like he almost shit himself. And my exact words were, "I can't fucking believe they did it." Like I said it right in the middle of the scene. I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe they actually pulled that shit off," because that's a huge secret to keep.
That is a huge secret to keep. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I agree. I think that's the moment. It's either Doctor Strange or Scarlet Witch. Which one do you think was that? It's probably Doctor Strange, right?
That's Doctor Strange.
I think it's Doctor Strange.
I think any Spider-Man multiverse stuff we're going to see is Doctor Strange. I think anything else we can argue about back and forth.
Yeah. So I mean now, like you said, now is he that figure we see in the trailer? Some people say it's Venom. Some people say it's Lizard.
I think it's Venom.
Does he have a reason to be angry at Tom Holland's Spider-Man? Will Eddie Brock allow it? Because Eddie Brock's a real good guy.
Yeah,
and has no reason to hate Peter Parker, not like in the comics.
That's the big difference. I'm wondering is this Venom even going to be fighting Peter Parker? I wouldn't be, because if what Venom and Carnage is going off of, they're not going off of Venom the villain comics. They're going off of the 90s run, right, of Venom as an anti-hero. So maybe we're going to see them join up. Maybe like him licking the screen, it's making us think, oh, well, maybe there was a Venom at some point, but maybe he was an ally to this Spider-Man, right? Because this Venom isn't necessarily a bad guy, and Eddie Brock is definitely not a bad guy. Eddie Brock's a good guy. Venom's kind of just indifferent to people because he's an alien and he eats people. But Eddie Brock is a fucking good guy in this, so maybe he's going to be an ally and not a member of the Sinister Six.
Yeah, I agree, because I think that they put together this Venom to be the anti-hero. I don't think they're going to suddenly make him a bad guy and then what the hell happened. So I can kind of see that. So that's the part I'm like trying to figure out, unless they retcon his past and they say, well, we already met him when he was an anti-hero. Now he had his villain days, and those are behind him now, and that's it. Because I mean, this Venom did show up to the planet in the first movie with the intention of fucking showering down and eating the planet. I mean, he didn't like it.
But as I brought in that first movie, though, why was he chosen?
You're a loser, and I'm a loser, and we're losers, and that's basically it.
Yeah. You're a loser. We're going to send you with all these winners to kill this planet. Loser symbiote.
Yeah. Who again, by the way, because Angie had a good question, too, after we walked out of Let There Be Carnage. She's like, why are all the symbiotes more powerful than Venom? Like, what is up with that? And I was like, oh, he's a loser, and that's it. That's all we got.
Well, that's what make it. That's right there is what makes him a hero.
Yes, because he's not as powerful.
Because he's not as powerful, and you're actually worried. You're right. You worry about him fighting a stronger villain who might be stronger, but the hero will always come out on top. Will find a way to win. But I agree. I don't think he's going to be the bad guy. I think we're going to see him, and I think he's going to help, because there's no reason for Eddie Brock. Like I said, Eddie Brock's a good guy. He has no reason to hate a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah, right.
It's pretty random. Yeah, I agree. No, there's no connection with Eddie Brock and Tom Holland's Peter Parker.
Yeah, exactly.
When you put it like that, Eddie Brock has no reason to hate a 16-year-old kid. It's like, that's a great point. That says it all.
They're not reporters. They're not fighting for the same job. They're not fighting for the same woman. It's just a kid and a guy. And it's like, all right. This is. I mean, I can literally see like them walking around going, "This is a fucked up universe. We got to help this poor kid. Let's go help it." And again, like you said, maybe Venom has some kind of thing from his past.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you know what? But the best part is, he might be like, "Oh, I like that costume," and we might get the tarantula in the front of the fucking Venom costume.
I think we're going to actually. I think we're going to finally get a proper Venom. But I'm
not sitting next to you in the theater, Ed. Your head might pop off.
Tim, I'm going to make sure I sit next to you in the theater now. Every time I see it, out 5 times, I'm going to be like, Tim, come, let's go. We're going to see Spider-Man again. Yeah, that's probably what happened. But to further along the theory that there's a prior relationship with a Peter Parker. So just hear me out on this. So in the first Venom, they are references to something that happened in New York, which is why Eddie is in San Francisco, that he got chased out of there.
Good point.
So that could be with that universe's Peter Parker that he had the problem with. They don't really have a reason to mention another Spider-Man, but that universe, I would assume, has their own Spider-Man, because now you're saying in the multiverse, so therefore that universe does have a Spider-Man then. Perhaps that's where he had a rivalry with an adult Peter Parker, who does not look like Tom Holland, which is why Eddie doesn't react the way he does. And therefore, that's what we're getting. But the symbiote, the Venom symbiote, does recognize it and is like, all right, that is Peter Parker. We're going to start some shit now.
Possibly.
I could buy it.
I didn't pull this theory out of my ass. There was a lot of thinking behind this. Trust me.
My only thing with that is I don't think there's a Spider-Man in the Venom universe. No, there might be a Peter Parker.
Okay.
Who he hates.
Yeah.
Who stole his job, stole his woman.
That's
why he left. Yeah. But I just don't think that, because I think you can't again. But that's just me. How do you not mention that in these two movies that there's actually a Spider-Man or a super? But then again, how do you not mention how Shriek got her powers?
Right.
Is she a mutant? Is she a mutant?
We don't know that.
I'm saying we don't know. We don't know.
Yeah. No, we don't know anything about her.
In the comic, I think she is.
In the comic, she's probably a mutant. Yeah. All right. So there you go. But you can't.
We know Sony can't say mutant. Sony can't say mutant.
Sony can't say mutant.
Marvel can say. Marvel Studios can say whatever the hell they want now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, tune in. Marvel's going to have a show where for like 6 weeks, for 20 minutes every week, they just go mutant, 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 mutant.
Oh, Galactus. Okay, let's go.
Yes, that's right. Oh, Galactus. Annihilus. Mutant, mutant, mutant. Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking about this. That I'm gonna throw that. That's my hunch on this. That there's a prior relationship with another version, and I don't know if we'll ever meet them or not. They can just be off screen, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see actual legit writers get a hold of this Eddie Brock Venom and make him better, because he'll be better written in this movie, that he's going to be in No Way Home. I would be shocked if he's not in No Way Home for at least a little bit.
I said this in the first movie, how they got Michelle Williams, who's like an artsy-fartsy kind of actress, to do these movies. I don't understand.
And especially the second one, where she's got nothing to do.
Nothing.
Even Tom Hardy, like I told you, I said this too. I am not that I'm not a Tom Hardy fan. I don't see the hoopla over him being this great actor.
I'm with you on that.
I don't see that hoopla. I mean, I Peaky Blinders, he's phenomenal. Phenomenal. You have to put the fucking subtitles on to understand what he's saying. And when you do, you're like, holy shit, this guy's great. But other than that, I've never seen him in anything where it make me think like this guy deserves an Oscar. Never.
No, I like him and stuff. I liked him in Inception. I liked him in Mad Max.
Yeah,
I don't love him.
I agree.
Yeah, but like I said, for someone of his stature that I don't consider, but to do this horribly scripted 2 movies, and then you can drag Michelle Williams. I'm like, well, remember that, Eddie, you said it the first time. Well, if Michelle Williams is in it, it can't be that bad.
I did say that. I did say that.
Famous last words.
Yeah, and they were like, holy shit, that was bad.
Yeah, well, no, Tim, we saw it the first one together, and I was like, wow, that sucked.
She must have slipped. She must have lost a bet or something.
I don't know, man. Or maybe she's good friends with Tom Hardy, because from all the interviews you hear, Tom Hardy seems to be all in. Like, he seems to be genuinely a fan of Venom and seems to like really want to do this. So this is probably more of like a passion project for him.
Okay,
that he just wants to do it, and I get it. It's cool. I mean,
I hope he like plays the long game then, like they did with Deadpool. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like Ryan Reynolds did. Like, play the long game. All right, I'll do your shitty Venom movies, but in 10 years, you're gonna give me creative control, and I'm gonna make a proper Venom movie.
But no, hold on though. He co-wrote the story for Let There Be Carnage.
Okay.
Which I was shocked about. I was shocked that I saw that.
I am surprised about that, but like, okay, co-wrote, which means he probably wrote a lot of comic book accurate shit that was cut out, and the good stuff that we have that is like reflective of the comic book was him. Like,
yeah, but I think it's. I mean, dude, I didn't need more fuel to be jacked up for No Way Home, but this just adds a little bit more spice to it, if you want to say, to this pot of simmering excitement.
Yeah.
This does add a little bit extra into it.
Well, do you think we're getting anything this weekend? Probably not. Probably Eternals will probably be the next new trailer, right? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's my guess.
Not this week, even though it's Comic-Con weekend. We probably won't get nothing this weekend.
From what I understand, a lot of them were skipping that, which is Chris actually called me last night and was like, "Yo, do you want to come to Comic-Con today?" Besides me saying I have Granny's peach tea, I was like, no, I was just like, but all the vendors were skipping it, so I'm like, why am I gonna go to this? What, to do what? To hang out?
It's good to go there when the doors open and get the hell out of there by noon.
I tried to do that last time, and Francisco roped me in, and Chris roped me in, and I kept going. But then I ended up sitting in a panel with the Spider-Man panel. Of course, you knew I was going to go into that. Nice. I sat in that one. There was a Star Wars comic panel that I sat in, and there was a Marvel Knights panel with Joe Quesada that I got to sit in. I literally sat up in there, and I looked at the schedule for the next 3 hours, and my phone was dying. I sat on the floor, I plugged it in, and I just hung out in that room with my pops and just watched the whole thing. It was pretty cool.
Eddie, I'm saying that this time next year, because I have no doubt we'll continue to do this show for a year.
Yes.
You and I are going to get press passes to the next Comic-Con. I have a friend who's done it.
Yeah.
And he's willing to walk me through. I just didn't want to go this year for the same reasons you weren't excited. So next year, I am getting us press passes to Comic-Con because we literally cover this stuff here.
We will go live. If we can do that, I promise you we will go live on the group, and we will do like a very small episode, like a 10-minute episode of Granny's Peach Tea live from Comic-Con New York. I would absolutely love it.
We're going to do it next year. I'm going to get us press passes. I just got to tell my friend. I'll get my friend to help me with in August. We're good.
Nice.
Well, one other quick question then. I'm going to take a poll. I'm pretty sure we all know Toby's in the movie.
Yes.
There's even been some audio leaks that I heard. But will we get any of him or Garfield in the trailers before the movie? Even though we pretty much know he's in it, do you think Marvel will pull that old? Well, we don't know. I mean, because it's already October.
We're definitely not getting Garfield because Garfield is still telling us he's not in the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Well, I've said this here before, and I'll say it again. I don't know if Garfield's in the movie. He's the one who I'm a little skeptical on. Toby, I'm pretty confident that he's in the film. Again, don't know how much. Pretty confident because I still stand by this one. Actually, 100%. Let me rephrase this. Tobey Maguire, I believe, is 100% in the film because in the trailer, I believe Doc Ock is talking to that Peter Parker.
I agree with you on that.
I think he's talking directly to Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker.
There was an audio leak. It was on TikTok, I believe, and you hear Tobey Maguire saying, "In my world, Octavius is dead." And that's the one line you heard. And I'm like, that really is Tobey Maguire. So I'm like, okay, I'll take it. I'll take it as a guarantee. Now the other question is, what do you think we're gonna get any fucking John Mulaney as Spider Pig? No. You think we're gonna get Spider Ham? You think we're gonna get Nicolas Cage? Any of that crap?
I don't think so. I don't think we're getting.
That would be hysterical.
No, I think
I'm not saying I'm against it. I just don't think we're gonna see it.
Yeah, same here. I'd love to see. Let's go crazy, but I think we're going to see a smattering of the villains and Spider-Man from the Sony movies, and that's the multiverse. I think that's enough. I mean, I don't think we're going to go too crazy because I think if we went too crazy, it might be too much. You know what I'm saying?
They should at least mention it. It'd be funny if one of the Peters was like, "Listen, dude, there's a lot of Spider-Man out there. There's even a pig." Hey, I think that would be hysterical. That would be hysterical.
With that.
I guess here's my big question though, because of his origin in the comic, are we getting a Miles Morales in this episode? In this movie?
Well, in the MCU, he's
referenced in Homecoming
as a young, as a person, not as a Spider-Man.
Yeah, but he's young. He's really young though.
He's very young, but also that's also not Danny Glover is not the Prowler in that. Yes, he's very young, and maybe but because we have, and I'm not saying it's an introduction.
Even though I would like to see Danny Glover.
Danny Glover.
I would like to see that.
It's
you mean another universe is Miles Morales? You mean?
Yes, yeah.
Like, are we going to see another? Because we don't know. There's necessarily no promise he's going to be Superman in the MCU. They've mentioned that he's there as a human being, as a character, but I'm interested if we're going to see him as Spider-Man in this, because that is his origin.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to see a Miles Morales. I kind of think that at least at this time, my guess is that they want to keep Peter Parker as the live action Spider-Man, and they want to have Miles have his own franchise, because the animated franchise is Miles Morales. He's the center of that. Even though there's 1,000 different Spider-Men in that, but he's essentially the center Spider-Man in that now, moving forward. I think they're going to want to focus on two of them and not to get too convoluted.
Makes sense.
With all of it. That's my guess. And I think also focusing on Tobey Maguire, Peter Parker, and if Andrew Garfield is in this movie. I have a feeling I'm leaning towards no now, but I think Tobey, yes. Or maybe that's just me wanting that to happen.
I really want Tobey in this movie. Andrew Garfield, I don't care about.
No, that's my point. I think it's because I'm trying to still forget about Andrew Garfield and then just pretend it just never happened on any universe.
I can't believe I have to watch. I have to watch those movies in like a month.
Yeah, we're gonna go there, but whatever.
Right.
Yeah, that's. I say no to no live action Miles Morales, at least not yet.
Okay, that's fair. I agree with you.
All right, and I think that pretty much kind of wraps it up for us this week. Thanks for joining us, Tim. Thanks for jumping on as always. You're always welcome to jump on, and we still got some more Titans to cover, even though we have no more What If, at least for now.
And Tim, you got to let me know what James Bond movie you want to come on our new show on, because we're starting a new show, and I'd love to have you on it.
You have to give me a heads up. I haven't seen the original Bonds in so long.
Well, you tell me which ones you're in. We'll talk. Yeah,
we'll talk about.
But Tim's going to be a guest.
Absolutely.
I'm
a whore. I've literally done every show this week.
Nice.
I've been on every one of this, so I had to come on this one just to get that week out of the way. I was like, every show. I'll do them all. I don't care.
Well, thanks for joining us. We always appreciate it. If you're into, if you're into the Yankees, the Empire 161 show is coming on at 3:00. So I'll have a half an hour break before we come back and wrap up the season.
Enjoy lunch.
Our season. Unfortunately, it's our season finale. So, we gotta do what we gotta do. So we got that. If you're into the New York Giants, you can catch Tim and Faraci and the guys on the We Stomped You Out. You guys are usually on Wednesdays, right?
We Stomped You Thursday. The new football show is Wednesdays.
Sorry, that's what I was confusing the two. So the overall football show, if you want to hear about, picks for the week, fantasy and stuff like that, you can check out the overall. What was the name of the show? I'm sorry, you guys named the show now.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
Nice.
On Wednesdays. If you're into wrestling, you can also find Tim on Just Too Sweet show, normally on Tuesdays. He's there with Eric. They do a great job covering wrestling. You can also catch Eric on the A to Z show. I know he's been bouncing around and he was off for a little while with that. But he covers everything from A to Z. There you go. Literally anything and everything. So,
everything.
Yes, all about that.
From alligators to zebras and everything in between.
Exactly.
Don't know where Jada and Kyle have been, but I'm sure they'll be back at some point covering something.
They're doing something. I don't know what they're doing.
They'll be doing something. I hope so. I mean, Jada's been reaching out to me about Venom Let There Be Carnage. Doesn't sound too thrilled about it, but so there is that. So we will see you guys next week, which we will be covering. We're technically kicking off our Spider-Man stuff. So next week, Granny's Peach Tea, we'll be talking about Sam Raimi's original Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst and William Dafoe. We're going to be covering all Spider-Man leading up to No Way Home. We will take 1 week off to do Eternals. All the Spider-Man. Spider-Man 1, 2, 3, Unamazing Spider-Sham, 1 and 2. We'll be talking about Spider-Verse, Homecoming, Far From Home. Join us. It's going to be this is it. Tim, I get to talk about Spider-Man for months.
That's
Spider-Palooza.
Spider-Palooza. It's in heaven.
This is it, baby. I'm loving it. This is why we created the show in the first place. It was to talk about Spider-Man for months. So we'll be talking.
I'll definitely pop on for a couple of those.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. All right, so we'll let you guys know we're going to pop on next week because we're trying to work it around because CW keeps screwing around and moving their shows around. But we'll work that out. So thanks for joining us. YouTube people, Pop Culture Pros, hit subscribe. Check out all the shows we mentioned. Facebook, Go ahead, like the Pop Culture Pros group, like our group of Granny's Peach Tea. We talk about a bunch of crap on there, share news that doesn't make the show. We can get into that. Twitter, go ahead, same thing. Follow it. Instagram, follow it. Love it all, and we'll see you guys next week. All right, peace.
Later.